Alright, we're live. I'll give it a second, I'll let the Discord know. Load up the chat on my phone. I'll just give it a minute for people to join. Stock market's looking good today. The Nasdaq up above previous support, SPX coming into previous resistance. SPY, Google looking good, Tesla looking good. Coinbase looking good as well. I bought some Coinbase today. What's everyone saying? How's everyone doing today? Wow, the dollar's having a pretty harsh move down. We're not far off falling out of support. This is really good for the crypto markets. Let's see if I got my macro Bitcoin chart. Alright, what's everyone saying today? How's everyone doing? Any altcoin requests? What's everyone saying? How's the stream? How's the audio? Apple having a nice rally. Altcoin market cap still very, very weak. Still below our 618. Total crypto market cap. Still bearish, but still hanging on the 618. Both in a bear flag. This one's pretty ugly though. Let's check out the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance on the daily. Once again going up. Another green, red, green formation. Probably going to push us up on the Bitcoin dominance. Up to as high as 89%. Bitcoin dominance on the weekly time frame. We're pushing back above all the previous candle body closes. We've only got 47%. And then you've got the top up here at 47.7, and then the Bitcoin dominance will be going on a massive rally. This will probably wreck the altcoins. Pair this with the dollar going down. Bitcoin looks okay. We closed above all the levels that we talked about yesterday in the live stream. We talked about the 618, the 13 EMA. Yeah, Bitcoin's above everything we need to be above, apart from the EMA ribbons right now. Ape Tech, what's up Ape Tech? How are you doing today? Gonna check out the altcoin pairs. Get rid of some of these from yesterday. Ethereum name service. Yeah, it's good to be streaming again, Ape. AP Tech. Some of the altcoins are going up against their Bitcoin pairs, which is weird because the Bitcoin dominance is still moving up. On the daily time frame, Bitcoin dominance is pushing up super hard. What's going up against Bitcoin then? They're all pretty small moves, to be fair. Apecoin's having a baby bounce today. Dogecoin's having a baby bounce today. Pretty much everything else is still down. Tron is starting to head down. JASMY's just had a huge push down. Crypto.com basically it's sitting in a huge breakdown right now. Near having another tiny bounce. Matic having a tiny bounce. Most of the altcoins are still getting beat. Solana's still pushing down pretty hard. Their network was shut down for hours and hours yesterday. Let's check out how Solana's doing. Solana's up on the daily against the USD, down against the BTC pair. It still looks really bad. Solana's barely holding in here. $40 for Solana. I swear we've moved down a rank as well. We're now rank number 9. What have we been taken over by? Not BUSD. I don't think XRP has had a rally. Maybe it has just been on 9. I felt like it was at like 7 or something. Do you think 14 to 18k bottom for Bitcoin is realistic? I don't think Bitcoin's going that low. I think the lowest, well, the absolute lowest Bitcoin can go is 16k, 16.5k in my opinion. But I think it would need to take like a pretty strong black swan event to bring us down to this price. I think 200-day moving average is much more likely, 22,200 at this point in time. But I've been saying I think we're going to rally for the next 2 weeks, at least until the next FOMC meeting. So 2 weeks from now, 200 week would be sitting at around, yeah, basically 22,500. So that is pretty much where I think the bottom is going to come in. Let me move this up a tiny bit because I don't think we're going to be here for another 2 weeks or so. So 22,500, that is kind of the lowest that I see Bitcoin going. But if we were to have a wick, I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to 20k. And, you know, worst case scenario, like I said, 16.5 in 2 weeks' time. This is probably going to be 17k. Because we have had wicks down to the 300 week before. But I still expect diminished returns to the downside as we had diminished returns to the upside. From the top, it'd be about a 76% correction if we came down to 16.5k, which is still much less than we've had in previous cycles. 84%. I think before this we had a 94%. Oh no, it was only a 87%. Must have been... maybe not. From 2013. No, this was the 2013. Technically, the next bull run for Bitcoin should be 120k and Sol 450, but that's only according to trend-based fibs. I think if we have another bull run, Solana's probably going higher than 450. Your favorite crypto ICP actually pumped a bit. Let's go check out what ICP is doing. And my favorite ICP is actually oh no, my favorite crypto is actually XRP. So yeah, ICP moving up. We've moved above the 13 EMA, which is a good sign to start with. Up 20% on the day, but still, I mean, it's about time that we broke out of this downtrend. We said this in yesterday's stream. If we literally went sideways for another couple of weeks or so underneath this downtrend, we would have literally been at zero. So, you know, at some point this was bound to have a move above this line. Good amount of volume coming in. You'd want to see continuation though. Every other time we have these big single day pumps on ICP, they never get continuation. If we inverse chart this, where was the previous inverse chart all-time high? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we came all the way back down to 14. And by down, I mean up, because this is the inverse chart. But $11.45, as long as we're below $11.45, we're still pretty bearish for ICP. So that would be the level to beat. Flip it back over to the normal scale. You've still got a ton of resistance coming in for ICP. 1.618 at $10.33. Daily EMA ribbons long-term moving average at $11.30. Yeah. Wouldn't get out of bed right now for ICP. A lot of the time we have this. We had this the other week, a couple of months ago now. You can see a lot of the time ICP goes down 99%, has a 2x rally, then gets rugged back down. So yeah, I'd probably say if there was any time to get into ICP, it might be now for the next couple of days. But then yeah, I wouldn't have good long-term price targets on this one. Ape Tech, gonna have to leave the live stream for now. Hopefully you are streaming 1 hour later. Yeah, I definitely might be. I'll probably do it for the next hour and a half or so. Catch you in a bit, AP Tech. Has there been any news on ICP? I think this is their Twitter. Yeah, it is. So this was April 12th, 21 hours ago. I don't see why it pumped. But fair enough. What about Axie? Let's check out what Axie's doing. Axie looks like it's about to break down, to be honest. I think a lot of the altcoins look like they are about to break down. Bitcoin dominance is still moving up. In the past 4 hours, it's started to step up a lot as well. So like I keep on saying, while the Bitcoin dominance is riding up, probably expect Bitcoin to outperform altcoins. Axie's down 2% today, Bitcoin's up 1%. Axie BTC must be down about 2.5% on the daily. We're running out of bears piling out of Axie rather. We've pretty much been going sideways for quite a while though. Let's see what's going on here. I do think the breakdown for Axie is more likely. If we clear this up for a second. Heikanashi's weekly looks terrible. The daily looks pretty bad as well, but especially the weekly. You can actually see there's an alright increase in bearish volume in the past couple of weeks or so. So unfortunately Axie does not seem like it's out of the water yet. 786 was long taken out on this one. Let's get my old chart back. So yeah, I mean, you're miles below the 786, you're in a bear flag right now, and we're just pushing below the 13 EMA, which is not a good sign. Micro uptrend looks like it's already been almost invalidated. We just bounced on the 786 and now we're coming into the 13 EMA, so if we round it up to the 4 hourly EMA, $21.30. Unless we get above there for Axie, we're probably bearish. I expect it's probably more likely that we're going to move up to between $21.30 or perhaps even $21.70, and then we're probably going to have a move back down to about $18. But at some point we're going to take out the floor on this, is what I'm thinking we're going to do. Axie still hasn't quite recovered from the Origins release or the Ronin hack. Where would the next level down be? There was a huge M pattern down here. The next level of support, because we don't have much volume traded from the 786 to these lows. It was basically an accumulation range for ages, and then we just straight ran up to the 786 within a couple of weeks. So $14.35 and basically $10. Those would be your hopefully the bear market bottoms for Axie Infinity in the short term. And by the short term, I mean within the next week, I probably expect it to move down about 13%. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, after the next FOMC meeting, the Fed is very, very likely to be raising interest rates again. If we get the FOMC countdown. I think the Chicago Mercantile Exchange says it's basically 100% probability of having another interest rate hike. So coming into the next FOMC meeting, which is on the 15th, literally 13 days away from now, they're probably going to raise the interest rates again, and the markets are probably going to dump the day after. So coming into the 15th or the 16th, so the next 3 weeks, Axie will probably be coming down to $14.40. If we do break down from there, we have a lot of confluence calling for a bottom round about $9.69. Let's just call it $10 for the psychological level. But yeah, at least in the next week or so, I do see Axie coming down. Let's go check out the Axie BTC pair. Axie BTC, yeah, going down on the daily 2.5% as Bitcoin is up and Axie is down. We're starting to pick up momentum to the downside as well, probably just because we've got rejected from this trend line once again. And the 786 fib, you've literally just had a big move below there. So this is best to find on the weekly time frame. We've had multiple weekly closes below your 786 fib for Axie. We've now moved back up into the previous area of resistance, got rejected from it. On the daily as well, you got rejected from the top of your EMA ribbons, the long-term moving averages. And now you're starting to get bears step in on your momentum indicator, which is the squeeze mom. 4 hourly time frame, it's already starting to move down quite heavily. And Axie against Bitcoin is literally getting hammered by the EMA ribbons. 1 hourly, we've just come into them. I'm more interested in the daily though. And the longer we stay below the 13 EMA, the worse it is for the price. If we zoom out, you can basically see, you know, sometimes you lollygag into the side of this and it doesn't mean too much. But, you know, when you have these big uptrends, as soon as you cross the 13 EMA, you do normally go on these stair steps to the downside. We've hopped above it a few times, and it's never been a good signal to hop above it and not backtest it and go up further. If we get rid of the EMAs, you can see we crossed it, failed a backtest, move lower, 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 crossed it, failed the backtest and move lower. So I think everything points to lower price targets for most of the altcoins, but specifically for Axie, it's probably going to go down quite hard, especially against its Bitcoin pair. This would be a hard one to call where we would be stopping, because we've basically built out no support on this entire trend. 69% wouldn't be too bad. I imagine we've already come down to the 1.618 here. 1.618. I wouldn't run it off that fib. So yeah, I mean, there's some pretty steep drops down, but to be honest, as we've already closed a multitude of weekly candle body closes below the 786, And Axie against Bitcoin as well. EMA ribbons look like they're about to start to curve into themselves. So Axie's probably going to go down. Avalanche, yeah, we'll check out what's going on with Avalanche. I don't think we've got a BTC pair for AVAX. Yeah, I've never checked out AVAX against Bitcoin, so this will be an interesting one. Binance only goes back to 2020. AVAX, BTC. We'll check out Coinbase, Bittrex, Poloniex. One of these is bound to go back lower. No. 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 What was the only other one that we didn't try? Bitfinex? I don't think we tried Hyobi. Alright, is that really as far as the charts go back? July 20. Coin market cap. If we get our AVAX BTC pair. When does this go back to? Okay, so maybe that's just about right. Comparing this against Bitcoin. It did outperform Bitcoin in the bull run. It definitely outperformed, but now it's getting wrecked. We've already wiped out pretty much all of the gains against Bitcoin, unfortunately. We'll check this out. Let me read some comments. Raghav, what's up, my friend? How's the PC? Yeah, the PC is really good. It's fast, it's nice. The only problem is Windows 11. Like, literally, I never recommend anyone to get Windows 11. It's so garbage. It's so hard to find anything. Like, everything has basically disappeared. The layout is ugly. You can't even click on this and get a calendar anymore. So, I mean, it says the date down here, but yeah, pretty much everything about Windows 11 is an ugly operating system. But the PC's fast. I've downloaded a few games, but I've only played Red Dead Redemption 2 on it so far. I just put all the settings on max, and yeah, it's a beast. But I'm mainly going to be using it for the YouTube. You kind of dig Windows 11? I don't know. I don't think there's anything I like about it. I think the only thing I like about it is this little search bar here. Apart from that, I really don't like it. Also, I've got my Microsoft account linked, so I can link my Xbox on it, but I think you can do that on Windows 10 anyway. And the Photos app as well, there's a few things that bug out. I don't know about you, but I've already experienced a ton of bugs on Windows 11. So yeah, Avalanche, we'll check out Avalanche. Alright, let me just eyeball this for a sec. So all of your fibs are basically gone in the macro term. 786 is long gone. Yeah, once again, Avalanche is another crypto which is being absolutely brutalized right now. Selling volume says it all. I mean, we don't even need to talk about anything else apart from the selling volume. While this selling volume is going up, then it's probably not the time to get into Avalanche. Avalanche used to look really, really nice. If we clear up this chart a little bit, get rid of some of these. I mean, to be fair, if we go back, because it's hard to see where we were running off before, Avalanche was just in a super, super steady uptrend the whole time. I think we had 2 trend lines on this, and it just massively broke down. As soon as it broke down, Avalanche has been super bearish. So we're already coming down to these lows. If these aren't the lows, then it's going to get a lot worse, unfortunately. Say this is, and we've already come down to here. So this is literally the last line in the sand. If we break below $21.68 for Avalanche, then we're probably going all the way back down to $9. $9.46. From where we are now, we need to turn around in the next 10% or so. Otherwise, we're probably, at least in my opinion, we're going to drop about 60% or so. I really don't think there's much point in going into the much lower time frames like the daily and jumping into it too much. The macro time frames are pretty black and white, but Lower time frames, we're bear flagging down, and there's just M patterns everywhere. Like, this is just so M-y. There's literally M's everywhere. This is a super, super ugly chart. And also, yeah, I mean, while we're below the 13 EMA as well, below the 13 EMA, below the EMA ribbons, nothing else to say. Super, super bearish. Like I said, 4 hourly time frame, it's way more transparent. I mean, look at this, just M, breakdown, like a bunny hill down, M, 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 breakdown. Then we had these kind of little hills up, almost like ugly W's. But there's just so much eminess on this chart. I'm really not a fan of the AVAX chart anymore. One sec, I'm just reading the chat. That Photos app is tragic. Yeah, it is. What's up, AE1 Toe? I'm doing good. How are you doing? I can't wait to get back to Solana, my favorite. Yeah, we'll check out what's going on with Solana now. Their network was down so hard for the past couple of days. Like, I had an NFT giveaway over on Discord, and I had to obviously buy the NFT before I could announce the giveaway, and it literally took me like 48 hours of failed transactions to use Solana. The network was completely broken for multiple days. So there was news articles saying they turned it off for like 5 to 8 hours. I think it ran between 6 to 8 hours, but even though they said it was down for 6 hours, I've been trying to use it for the past couple of days, and it's been broken the whole time. So Solana's been pretty sucky recently. What's up, Cowboy? I don't know if I missed it, but what's your thoughts on Mirror Protocol? We'll check out Mirror as well. We'll check out Mirror and Solana. So Mirror, Solana. What's up, Eddie? How you doing? Holland, Lara, everyone can send you an email now. Better chance name. Are you like some males? I feel like I'm having a brain hemorrhage just reading that. What do you think of OP? I don't know what OP is. Is that even a ticker symbol? OP? Is it Optimism? Optimism USD? Can we also do ApeCoin? Yeah, we'll check out ApeCoin and ADA. Alright, so we'll check out Solana as that was first, but yeah, just quickly on Avalanche against Bitcoin once again. This is really a chart that I don't have to do any analysis on. I mean, it's basically a straight line down. The trend would be your friend on this one. This is just super, super nasty. Avalanche is getting wrecked against Bitcoin. I mean, just look at this. Absolutely landsliding. So Solana. Is the Solana blockchain back up? Does anyone here use Sol? Because I've been trying to get, I tried to get an NFT yesterday, even when they said the network was back open. And I just got multiple failed transactions out of my Phantom wallet. Is Solana running? Or to be honest, I should probably just check out Sol Explorer. It looks like it's fine. But yeah, it's been a horrible couple of days. Active stake has remained pretty much the same. There's still quite a lot of people holding on to Solana. Solana on the weekly time frame. Wow, you don't even need to Heikonarshi this, but yeah, it's not over in my opinion. As you can see, you know, we've already capitulated below the previous all-time high, so it's very, very likely that we're going to much lower price targets. I've been saying this in my Solana videos, but where I think we're coming down to... Has the box disappeared? No, it hasn't. So we've got this little green box down here, basically where we had our first triple bottom, where Solana triple bottomed around about $20. And this was the market structure that we were almost playing out to the teeth back here. We played out a triple bottom and we ran all the way up. But unfortunately, in terms of just our Fibonacci's, we basically just confirmed the downtrend. If we get our fib from the low to the high, you can see macro term, we came up, had our blow off top. It wasn't such an obvious blow off top, which is probably what caught a lot of people off guard. We came down, we found support at the 786, we came up, got rejected from the 0.5, came down, got rejected from the 618, came down, got rejected from the 786. So it's pretty textbook. We've had probably one of the most textbook rejections into a bearish phase for Solana. Solana's so black and white, in my opinion. It's so M-y. We have M's everywhere. The chart just looks really bad. I think we're moving down for Solana. And also with this network outage, I mean, there's a ton of diehard fans on Solana, and I know that people aren't going to stop using it as an NFT marketplace, if nothing else. I still feel like even if the Solana network doesn't improve, it's probably still going to be one of the top NFT blockchains out there. I mean, I'd still use it, and I'm not happy with how bad the network is, just because I like Solana NFTs much more than any other blockchain. So I think Solana's got such a strong NFT community. I think it recently surpassed OpenSea. Magic Eden surpassed OpenSea in terms of volume. So I don't think Solana's going anywhere. I don't think the NFTs on Solana are going anywhere. In fact, the NFTs on Solana have actually been outperforming like everything else. Just want to check on a few ones. These have been doing pretty bad, to be fair. But they're all holding up their SOL value. Like, everything's keeping its Solana value, which is good. Yeah, basically everything's going up. Yeah, so Solana NFTs, they're literally outperforming Solana, so I feel like if people like myself, they still kind of want to be part of the Solana network, but they don't want to hold just Solana, then Solana NFTs are a pretty good thing to go over to. But Solana's probably breaking down, in my opinion. We've already wicked down to the 1.618 at $37, so where I think Solana's going down to is these candle body closes and these wicks, which probably means Solana's coming down to between $26.5 and $19, which is something good if you are like me and you do want to buy back your SOL for cheaper prices. We've been calling this for a while. The last time we looked at this was a 42% drop, and now it's about a 34% drop. So yeah, I still do think SOL's going lower. From where we are now, about another 34% to go. Bearish volume is stepping in on the daily as well. It's getting more exponential as our momentum indicator, the squeeze bomb, is starting to pull down. I imagine the 4 hour's looking horrible. Yeah, the 4 hour is not good. The 13 EMA has been such a brutal level to get rejected off. The last time we hit this, it took us about a day or two to go sideways into the EMAs, but then we kind of rugged all the way down. Had something like a failed W here. This could be what we're seeing here. So within the next 48 hours, or so, I do think Solana's probably going to drop down to $37, and then once we take out 37, it's probably going to come down to $26.50, and then we might have a bounce, but I'm still calling for a $19 on Solana, which would be great because I sold my Solana a couple of weeks ago and I can already buy it back for almost half price. So I would love to be able to buy back my staking bags at $19 or less. I think that's a reasonable price for Solana at this period in time. I mean, I think Solana has the market cap of Nokia, and at this moment in time that just doesn't quite make sense to me, so is what it is. Solana BTC as well. Like I said, I don't want to overanalyze the BTC pairs, especially when they're so black and white, but weekly time frame is currently sliding below the 786, so that is pretty much your end-all be-all. If you're wondering why the fib looks so weird, it's because we've got it to the candle body close on the daily. But yeah, it's not looking good. No matter how you slice it, this would be the conservative way as well, because if we drew it up to the wick, then we would have long surpassed the 786. So yeah, Solana against BTC. We said this was at least coming down another 20%. It's probably coming down another 18% from where we are now, and that's in the short term. Sol USD though, what do we say? Another 33%. So it's probably going to underperform BTC quite a lot. So Mirror Protocol, ApeCoin, ADA, and then OP. We'll check out those. Can you expect AVAX to return to the $40 zone? Let's check out our AVAX chart. I don't think we would be returning to $40. It doesn't make sense to me. I think if we did have a dead cat bounce, I don't see us, when we're in a downtrend, I feel like we're going to come to one of these moving averages at best. I wouldn't expect AVAX to pump its head over $32. And as a matter of fact, I find it more likely to expect lower price targets coming in sooner rather than later. So I wouldn't be expecting Avalanche to pop its head up and go on a mad run. I think AVAX BTC is probably going to be a leading indicator of what happens for Avalanche. And AVAX BTC looks pretty brutal. Pretty much the same as AVAX, to be fair, but we've just had a massive correction beneath these lows. So AVAX, especially against BTC, is probably going to go on a landslide within the next 3 weeks or so. So yeah, we could have a dead cat bounce. We could move back up to 31, 32. I wouldn't expect much higher than that. Loss said the screen is super blurry. Can anyone else confirm that? Is my screen blurry? It shouldn't be blurry. Let me see. I can look at it on my phone, to be fair. It's good. It doesn't let me control what picture quality I see it on my iPhone, but can all of you see it in at least like 720p? Everyone's saying it's good. Okay, fair enough. Master Milano, like so much your channel. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for popping in, my friend. Are there any coins looking slightly bullish in the short term? I think we looked at Green Satoshi Token yesterday, and I said that I think Green Satoshi Tokens... I think it was Green Satoshi Token. Let me double check on that. Actually, no, it wasn't. I don't think it was Green Satoshi Token. We're bearish on Green Satoshi Token. It was something else. It might be Waves. Actually, I think it is Waves. Where did we say Waves was going to in yesterday's live stream? Yeah, okay, so it was actually Waves. Waves looks okay, but Waves is pretty bearish in the macro term. So if you are going to be trading it, then bear in mind it is quite risky. The bullish volume is starting to decrease as well after this bounce, and it was probably about time that it did have a bounce after coming down to 430. But yeah, I think the stock, I know this is probably not what anyone wants to hear, but the stock market looks okay. I actually bought myself some Coinbase stock today. If you've been watching my channel, you've probably seen I've talked about Coinbase a few times. I talked about it, ages ago, but this obviously IPO'd up here at $430, and I finally bought some today at $70 or so. But yeah, this got brutalized, and I probably think it's about time for Coinbase to turn around. So I don't really talk about stocks too much on my YouTube channel, although stocks are a leading indicator for Bitcoin. So I think it was Waves. Yeah, it was Waves. I got confused for a second. It definitely wasn't GST, because I remember now I made a video for GST today, and we talked about this in the live stream yesterday, but we basically wicked all the way up to the 13 EMA. On the daily, I think you can see we perfectly wicked into the 13 EMA, got rejected and moved right back down. We didn't make it into the daily EMA ribbons. We didn't really make it out of the 4-hourly EMA ribbons. And we're currently just converging beneath the last line in the sand, which is the 1.618 before we move down. So yeah, I'm bearish on Green Satoshi token. I think we talked about this yesterday. This was yesterday's prediction, or maybe it was the day before. But we said a 52% drop on Green Satoshi token. We've moved down 15%, so that must have been from a few days ago, actually. I was going to ask about Green Satoshi token. Do you believe it might be going to $2 or $1.50 at least? Or do you believe in the project? I don't believe in any move to earn tokens because they're basically all pyramid schemes. But I always say in my videos, you know, I don't love it, I don't hate it, I just trade it. There are plenty of cryptos out there that I don't like. From both a fundamental and a technical perspective. Like, I don't like XRP, and I don't not like it, but the chart looks terrible. The ICP chart looks garbage. So I don't like ICP from a technical perspective, and I don't like XRP from a fundamental perspective. But if they had a good chart setup, I'd definitely trade it. And that's what I've been doing with the move to earns. I was covering the move to earns quite early on when Green Satoshi token just started to come out, and we had a good trade on Green Metaverse token rather. Obviously, Green Metaverse token, Green Satoshi token, they're both tied to the Steppen ecosystem, but these had a lot of hype holding them up. The problem with move to earns is they can only really survive in a bull market because a lot of people don't realize this, or they don't think about it, but the only way that you can make a move to earn actually function, and you can actually pay out the people who are part of that pyramid scheme, is if you've got money constantly flowing into the market cap. Because think about it, if you were to make a move to earn app, how the hell are you going to pay people for going outside and walking? I mean, they invest into your company by either buying an NFT of a shoe, or they buy, say for example with Steppen, people that buy up the Green Satoshi token supply. That means that fiat money is going into the market cap, and then they simply use inflation to print new tokens, give it to new holders. But that only holds up when there's money coming into the ecosystem. When no more people are putting, you know, money into these move to earns, then the rewards start to diminish, and you know, people get sick of them. So this is pretty much why we're seeing such big heavy hits over on these move to earns, because they can't maintain themselves without money coming into the market cap, which seems pretty obvious, but a lot of people don't want to hear it. But I don't really see Green Satoshi token going to $2 or $1.45 anytime soon. My personal price targets for the next couple of weeks are down at 58 cent and down at 50 cent. So that's where I think Green Satoshi token is going to go down to. But yeah, all of these move to earns are basically pyramid schemes when you think about it. But like I said, you know, you don't have to love it, you don't have to hate it. If you notice there's going to be a good trade setup in one of these, then it's always worth a trade in my opinion. Is Bitcoin recovering from its blip yesterday? Can it still see that move to 34 to 35k before the FOMC meeting? Yeah, I do think we are still going to be setting up for that move. The Bitcoin dominance is still moving up, which means that whether Bitcoin's going up or down, Bitcoin's still going to be outperforming the altcoins, which is great to see. And a super good sign for Bitcoin is the fact that the dollar just came up today into the 13 EMA, or was it last night? No, it was last night. So the dollar pumped up last night into the 13 EMA, made a lower high, and then moved down. We also got rejected from the EMA ribbon. So obviously, as most of you know, the DXY, or the US dollar index, it's inversely correlated to Bitcoin. So you see the US dollar go down, get rejected, and we see, you know, Bitcoin start to move back up. And it's the same, you know, a couple of days ago, the US dollar index was moving up and Bitcoin was moving down during this period. So the fact that the dollar's having a rejection at such a key pivotal moment when the dollar needs to turn around is a really, really good sign for the crypto markets. Also yesterday, I don't know if you were in the live stream yesterday, but we gave 2 price targets in which Bitcoin needed to close above for us to remain bullish, and that was your 618 Fibonacci from this low to this high. That was at $29,700, and also the 13 EMA coming in at 29,700. But I think yesterday this was 29,900. Obviously this is just gonna curve down over time. It's a moving average, but yeah, these were the levels we needed to hold. Even on the 4-hourly time frame, we held them. We didn't hold them on the hourly, but that's completely fine. Like I said, wicks do not matter. Daily closes were what we were looking for, and making sure we didn't break down on the 4-hourly was preferred. And we came down. We had a decent amount of selling volume bringing us down into these areas of support/resistance. We confirmed them as support, and now we've got bullish volume coming back in. But we're still in this pattern again, like... I can't, you know, get overly hyped up and say, you know, now is the time to be getting out of bed for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's exceptionally bullish. I mean, if we look at this, I've turned it into black mode so you can see these yellow lines a bit better. But if we look at this and we literally just focus on these yellow lines, Bitcoin is, you know, literally the same price as it was 24 days ago. So it's pretty much going sideways. I wouldn't say that like we're bullish at this moment in time, but my gut feeling is that Bitcoin is going to be moving up coming into the next FOMC meeting, which is on the 15th, which I believe we had this up here before, the FOMC countdown. Counting, not the counting, the countdown. If we go over to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, 13 days away is the next FOMC meeting. So I imagine Bitcoin's going to pump for 13 days. Like I've been saying, if we don't pump, then this would literally be 10 weeks in a row. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the 10th week. Like I've been saying, I think we're going to have 2 weeks worth of a pump. I made a whole video about this called Bitcoin Pump into June, I believe it was called. Or Relief Rally into June, something like that. But I still have the same views for that. I think Bitcoin in the next 2 weeks has a very good shot of going up to at least 34,000. And if we get really, really bullish in the next week, because we really need to start picking up momentum soon if we're going to go up this high. But 38,000, I don't see us getting above 38,000. So at least in the short term, that would 34, 35, 36, and then 38 are the levels to keep your eyes on. Let me read a few more comments. This actually makes so much sense. You have to maintain and put enough money into the project so it can flow and succeed. I myself have invested in this project and bought a shoe for 13 SOL and it costs 4 SOL. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, a lot of people don't think about how these move to earns actually run, but I mean, it purely relies on new investors coming in, which does make it a pyramid scheme, which I'm not saying is necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, a pyramid scheme has negative connotations. I don't think every pyramid scheme or every Ponzi is going to be bad, but the fact of the matter is, like, this is how any of these move to earns work. So if you didn't know, green metaverse token, green Satoshi token, FitFi, what are some other move to earns that we can think of? Dose, DFIT as well. All of these move to earns, they have the exact same way that they're maintained. So say for example, I'll use green metaverse token as an example of how this runs. So this is the green metaverse token ecosystem, and this is the green Satoshi token ecosystem. And I'll put them right next to each other so you can see that they're tied. Basically, let's say the green metaverse token system, I'm not even going to try and draw a shoe just because I'm such a terrible artist, but they sell S, which stands for shoes. And let's say you've got one person coming into the market, they buy one shoe, this is the first investor. They really don't get any money back from their return, because let's say hypothetically they invest, you know, $10 into this ecosystem. What happens is that they'll move $5 worth of value over to green Satoshi token, and they'll give you back, you know, $5 out of that initial $10 that you spent. And then you might be wondering, well, how do you make profit? Well, if another two people come underneath you and they either buy a shoe or they buy up the token supply of green Satoshi token, then the market cap of green Satoshi token, or whatever they plan on rewarding you, if it's FitFi, it'll be FitFi. If you're using STEP and GMT, they're going to reward you in GST. And the way that the person on top is able to maintain its rewards is by these two new investors coming in and putting new money into the market cap. That's the only way they can pay out rewards, is if there's money in the market cap. And then the way that these people get paid is when more investors come underneath them and they buy up the shoe supply. This in turn, you know, that increases the demand for green Satoshi token, because that's what people pay in. These new investors, they put their money, so let's say it's $10 each. Now you've got $30 worth of value flowing into the green Satoshi token ecosystem. And then once again, this pool of money, this pool of liquidity is redistributed in terms of rewards over to these holders. And then you might be wondering, well, what happens when there's no more investors that come into this pyramid? Well, what simply happens is this is the, you know, the treasury for green Satoshi token in order to pay out rewards, you know, after they, because the only thing they can do is increase the token supply to give you rewards. The market cap will stay the same, the rewards will get cheaper, people will sell their rewards in the open market, and the market cap for green Satoshi token will go smaller and smaller and smaller until people are left with, you know, like you said, shoes for 4 Solana that cost, you know, 13 Solana, and the whole pyramid kind of falls apart when there's no new investors running into the market. So that is basically how every single move to earn works. That is why they're all pyramid schemes, and, you know, it's debatable whether they're Ponzi schemes. It depends on what they are. But, you know, like I said, the only way it works is if you've got like a pyramid of new people coming in underneath you to support the market. So yeah, I think it's important that everyone knows that these move to earns, they're here for a short time, they're here for a good time, they're not here for a long time, in my opinion. Why waste time in coin that you don't like? Better to know more about what you think is worth. Well, you can still invest in coins and tokens that you don't like, because they could be good. They could be good trades. For example, I don't like XRP. I think XRP is a shitcoin. I've read the white paper, and the white paper is terrible. At least in my opinion, I think XRP's got terrible fundamentals. But for example, I'm not an idiot. I know that if the SEC fail and their court case against XRP falls through, let's say in the next week XRP wins the SEC case, I think the price of XRP would pretty much straight go up to $1. So while I wouldn't like it, and while I wouldn't believe in the fundamentals, I wouldn't, you know, not trade it and miss out on a huge pump like this. And the same thing with all these move to earns, like green metaverse token, green Satoshi token, FitFi. I said in all my videos that these are here for a short time, and they're here for a good time, they're here for a short time, they're not here for a long time. If you've heard me covering these, even since all the way back here at, you know, $1.30, I've been saying this. So, you know, I said this on GMT, we got in at 30 cents, we got out at like $3.40. I may not have liked the project, but I was willing to accept that it was probably going to go up in price. So yeah, like I said, don't love it, don't hate it, just trade it. What's up, Sundown? How you doing, my friend? Gains, how are you doing? Good to see you back. M&S, what's up, cowboy? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Alright, so what should we check out next? I think we had... There was one or two more. So, ApeCoin and OP. We'll check out ApeCoin quickly. And Mirror Protocol as well. I said I'd check out Mirror Protocol. If anyone else has any requests, let me know. We'll go check out Mirror. I haven't checked out Mirror in so long. I've even forgotten where it is. Mirror, Mirror, Mirror. I think someone asked for Quant as well, but I might be dreaming that. Wow. Okay. Oh my god. What happened? What happened since I last covered this? It just went to zero. Or it almost went to zero. Let's see. What are people saying about Mirror? Does anyone know what happened to Mirror? Market cap went down to 21 million. We'll check out ADA in a second for sure. Mirror exploited. It got hacked. If that is true, then yeah. It was because of Luna. What was Mirror? Was Mirror linked to Luna? Mirror Protocol being attacked as 2 million already drained. So, was the exploit on Terra because of Mirror? 90 million DeFi exploit went unnoticed for 7 months. It's come to a 90 million exploit on the old Terra blockchain. Okay, so yeah, what do I think of Mirror? I mean, it's heavily tied to Luna, so in my opinion, this is probably going to zero. Yeah, it really seems like this is done. It's completely flat and done. I would not bet on Mirror right now. I mean, there's nothing bullish about it. If we were flipping like some important, moving average, if we were flipping our EMA ribbons, or anything like that, or even if we were just holding basic market structure on these fibs, then you could argue maybe. But we're below the 13 EMA right now, so I would not bet on too much happening for Mirror. The 4 hours starting to turn down. We've just got rejected from the 13 EMA, and we've just got rejected from the EMA ribbon. So yeah, that about wraps it up for Mirror. Mirror's probably going to die. ADA as well. We said we would check out ADA. Get the ADA BTC pair as well. So ADA's up against BTC today, and BTC is also up. So that probably means, well, it means that ADA USD is up. Let's see our macro BTC chart. Did we bounce on the 786? We did bounce on the 786. Perfectly on the 786 from the candle body close. But we still have a bunch of overhead resistance over on ADA. We're coming into your EMA ribbons on the BTC pair now. I know most people care more about what's going on the USD pair, but I think when we're in this this bearish phase, it's much more important to check out BTC rather than USD. Jonathan, did you check out ICP already? Yeah, we checked out ICP maybe 10 minutes ago, 10-20 minutes ago. Towards the start of the stream, we actually covered ICP. How long have we been doing this for? An hour. So it was probably in the first 10 minutes actually. I take that back. Shout out to everyone watching. Can we try and get the likes up? Let's try and make this one of the most liked streams so far. ADA will have the Vasil hard fork. So what's the news on ADA then? Why is ADA having a hard fork? I never keep up with ADA. ADA's probably like one of my least least checked up cryptos. Slow and steady development seems to be paying off. I love how they've quoted this. If you move too quickly, as we've seen with Luna. So they're taking it nice and slow, which is good. I always think when blockchains get criticized for moving too slow, it's kind of you shouldn't criticize them for being too slow. Like, you know, for example, Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're the slowest movers, and because they're the slowest movers, they're the most secure. And then you get shitcoins like Luna come out and they're like, okay, we're just gonna, you know, do this out of the blue, we're just gonna wrap everything up in like a week. Algorithmic stablecoin, and then it just goes to zero. So yeah. There's a lot of new that's why ADA will outperform other alts. A lot of new updates, upgrades coming this month. I've seen a lot of buy the rumor, sell the news type events recently, so that's my only problem with this. But it would be a good long-term upgrade nonetheless, even if it has short-term bearish implications. Reference scripts, so it's basically an upgrade of the network. Cheaper transaction fees. So I mean, it's good news for ADA. At least this, I'm barely brushing the surface with it probably. But the chart still looks pretty bearish. The price to beat is 76 cent, although it does look like we are flipping back bullish on the squeeze mom, and we are having a decent amount of volume supporting this uptrend right now. So we need to see continuation for this, obviously, over the next couple of weeks. Green, red, green formation, which is good. If we go down to the lower time frames, it looks like we've held the 618. Bounce on the 618, came up to the 382. It looks like we're coming down to 56 cent in the next 4 hours or so. But we are running out of momentum. So this is the point in time where we need to see continuation. I always talk about this. When you have flips of EMA ribbons, you need to see a successful backtest and push up before you get too out of bed. So we've come up, we've had the invalidation point, we've backtested. This is the point in time where we're either going to M down and break down into this, or we're going to come up and we have a chance of taking out 69 cent. And after we take out 69 cent, then you would be coming up to 76 cents. So I would still be sitting on the sidelines for this. We've had a pretty nice flip of the 13 EMA, but you can see, you know, we did this over here. We came back for the back test. This is why it's very important. Like you saw here, massive, massive push up above the 4 hourly EMAs. You didn't get a continuation in volume when you came back to back test, and then you fell like a rock. So be waiting for a back test. Any update on waves? No updates on waves. I made a video like specifically for waves earlier. Nothing's really changed for waves. But ADA looks good. If Bitcoin keeps on pushing up, which I think it will, and the dollar keeps on pushing down in the short term, which I think it will, then I think ADA could do quite well in the short term. ADA BTC, like I said, bounced on the 786 fib. I do imagine this is going to capitulate before the bear market is all said and done. I just find it, you know, it doesn't happen. You do not have like bear market lows to highs. You do not hold the 786s throughout the bear market. So ADA is probably going down against BTC in the macro term. But at least in the next 2 weeks, until the next FOMC meeting, I'd probably say ADA is going to outperform the majority of the altcoins. But like I said, I would be waiting for Bitcoin to have its bear market bottom before I accumulate any ADA. A lot of people don't know this, but if you look at this was Bitcoin's bear market low, right? Or was it? Let me go check. So if we go over to the weekly time frame, I'm pretty sure it was December the 10th, 2018, which was the low. So yeah, look, if we got here December 10th, 2018, if we go over to ADA BTC, so how ADA was performing against Bitcoin, this was ADA in December 10th, 2018. And literally for almost 2 years, we went sideways against Bitcoin. So even for the next couple of months, after Bitcoin had its bear market bottom, Bitcoin managed to have a rally and it outperformed ADA by 54% before ADA found a bottom. So I wouldn't get like long-term bullish on ADA right now, but short-term the chart looks really nice. 69 cent would be the price to beat. If anything, a long from 69 cent, after you have a successful flip, of course, up to 76 cent, would probably be a pretty good trade. You would be right back at the 786. So yeah, I'd probably say that's the move. 76 cent ADA could definitely be in play in the next week. In the next 2 weeks, if we manage to push above 76 cent, the next level is weekly time frame. The next level is the EMA ribbons at 91 cents. So after you take out the top, you could even rally 33%, which would be very, very nice. ADA BTC as well could come back up to the 618. That would be very interesting. Can I check out UFT, Cake? Yeah, we'll check out those in a sec. Rune, Arve, E-Gold, File, and Link. A lot of requests there. Alright, let's start off with... UFT quickly. Looks like this is the only chart we can run off. This chart, it must be something better than this. Is this new over on Binance? UFT, USD? USDT, Gate.io? No, this has not been trading for long. So, I mean, just based on the chart looks terrible. I would not invest in this. UFT, Unilend, so it's probably a lending platform. These never normally do too well in the long term. How old is this project? 2020, so a couple of years old, had its major run up, and we're already back down to the lows against Bitcoin. Not surprisingly, it's getting slaughtered. This is built on Ethereum. The market cap is peanuts though. Circulating supply, not too much out. That's also not a good sign. I mean, purely based from a charting perspective, that we don't have much to run off. This chart looks really, really bad. I really don't like the chart setup on UFT. If anything, I think literally in the past 24 hours, we've just got rejected from the 13 EMA and the EMA ribbons. So I think the breakdown is much more likely than the breakup. We're currently capitulating below this bullish pennant type pattern here. So yeah, breakdown is probably in play for UFT. 618 fib is right here. We've already wicked down to it. 0.5 or 786 rather would be your next level down. If anything, I'd be shorting UFT. I think this is probably going to come down. But yeah, that's just my opinion. The chart does look pretty nasty. We've done this many times before. You can see, you know, you bull flag up, you have these big breaks up, and then you just fail to hold it and you capitulate. So we didn't get volume to support this. We had volume to confirm the bounce, and every time we came into the EMA ribbons, there was bearish volume stepping in to confirm it as resistance. So UFT not looking good. Gala, I think Gaines asked for that earlier as well, and also we need to do Ape as well. So we'll check out Gala Then we'll check out Ape. Gala, Gala, Gala. This is the problem of having way too many altcoins. So weekly time frame for Gala. Yeah, this is another one that's just doing horrible. I think we've looked at the Gala BTC pair, and this was probably one of the nastiest ones. I think Gala's getting wrecked against Bitcoin right now. Yeah, this is horrible. I mean, I don't even really need to do too much TA on this. I mean, if we just look at how Gala's performing against Bitcoin, would you want to spend your fiat or your Bitcoin on an altcoin that looks like this against Bitcoin? I wouldn't. This looks like a slaughterfest. Wow. We're probably coming all the way back down to the lows. Gala against Bitcoin is probably going to drop another 36%. Yeah, I wouldn't trade Gala. Gala USD as well is literally the same. You know, once again, we really don't need to do a ton of analysis on this. We can keep it super simple. We're literally down at the last level in the sand for Gala USD. If we do capitulate down from here, we're probably going to drop like another 50%. So, it's not looking good. Basically a 47% drop. I'm just going to quick fire most of these analysis, make it quick and simple so we can get through a few of them before I wrap up the stream. But even the much lower time frames as well, Gala is capitulating below the lows. It just fell below, or it's literally just sitting on the 618 fib right now. I think on the 4 hour, we've got this from this low to this high. If you're wondering why it looks weird, you know, on the daily, it looks weird drawing it from this low to this high. But yeah, Gala does not look good. Below the 13 EMA says it all. The last time we came up and tried to flip this, we were at 26 cent. I'm definitely expecting a move down. I mean, in my last Gala video, we were talking about a 52% drop. We've only dropped about 7%, so we've still got, you know, 48% of the way to go before I think Gala's bottomed. I'm very bearish on Gala, especially against the BTC pair. Like I said, if you are trading these altcoins in the bear market, make sure to look at how they're performing against Bitcoin, because, you know, bear in mind, if you buy an altcoin, you're taking on tons of extra risk than if you just bought Bitcoin, and there's not much point in buying an altcoin that doesn't outperform Bitcoin. So, you know, there will be a time for these altcoins, there will be a time for Gala to shine against Bitcoin, but you're much better off just waiting to buy like a weekly breakout of this downtrend. You know, until this changes, the trend is your friend. The trend has been your friend since all the way back here. So I wouldn't try and assume where the bottom is for this. I would definitely wait for a trend reversal. So yeah, Gala's pretty bearish. We'll move on to Ape now. We'll get the Ape BTC pair up, and then we'll check out Ape by itself. Holland, give Cowboy a like. Yes, everyone, please let's get this stream up in terms of likes. 22 likes, that's nice. We've got 29 viewers though, so we can definitely get more than 22 likes. Come on. The more people like the stream, then the more likely it is this content will get recommended to other people. So it really does help me out, so I would appreciate it. So ApeCoin, people want to see Rune as well. People have said Rune a few times. Yeah, what's up, Jago? Gala and Algo, if you haven't done them. So yeah, we just did Gala. Algo we'll do next. I wonder if Quant is going to $50. We'll check out Quant in a second as well. It's at 68, so not far-fetched. So ApeCoin, as always, I'm much more interested in the Bitcoin pair, but I know most people are going to be more interested in the USD pair, so we will do both. The chart on this looks pretty nasty. So Ape USD, We are bouncing. We have made a higher low, but you've basically... There is no fib on this at this moment in time. You've gone below your 786. And only recently we came into the EMA ribbons. So... or not the EMA ribbons, well, we got rejected from the EMA ribbons, and we got rejected from the 13 EMA, so we just don't look good over on ApeCoin right now. We're basically in price discovery to the downside as well, which is something I always like to do. You know, put this in the inverse chart, because, you know, a lot of people will be invested into ApeCoin, and if you're used to looking at the chart the other way around, you know, you might be trying to look for something that's bullish that's not there, but let's pretend this is a different crypto. When this is on the inverse chart, this was the previous all-time high. You know, you flipped the EMA ribbons, you flipped the 13 EMA, you went on a rally, you broke above the previous all-time high. We've only just backtested it, and now we're moving up. So this looks like the general market direction for Ape, in my opinion. And obviously this is the inverse chart, meaning that we would be going to lower price targets. Like I said, you're literally sitting on the 786 right now. You're at your last line in the sand. We have no momentum in either the bulls or the bears. We've basically been the same price for the past couple of weeks. So it's getting pretty boring for Ape at this moment in time. It is very, very boring. Once again, you can see extrapolating this trend line. This looked a lot better on the 4-hourly time frame, but we came up and we're just getting rejected from this. And every single time we have a run up, this is lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And at this moment in time, like I said, I mean, I wouldn't put it off going into $6.40, $6.80, but I don't expect it to go too much higher than those prices. The price to beat for Ape, if Ape really wants to break back bullish, we need to get above $6.94, and we need to have like daily candle body closes or daily closes above $6.90, $7 or so. Until we do that, then I would just be sitting on the sidelines for Ape. I have been suspecting this is going to go to lower price targets. We had another chart for this as well. We were missing a fib on this one. So my personal price target for Ape, we hit this one the other day, so we can get rid of this. We already hit the price target of the breakdown from this asymmetrical triangle, and the macro level down was the 3.618. So, which is actually on $4.20, so 420, you know, this is a meme coin, so it would be quite fitting if Ape came down to $4.20. So macro term, or more like what's, in my opinion, is going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, if we go over to the FOMC countdown, the next countdown for the FOMC, for the next FOMC meeting is going to be in 13 days, and the Chicago Mercantile Exchange are predicting 100% likelihood of an interest rate hike. So it is very, very likely these altcoins are going to get battered one last time against Bitcoin, and that is what we're seeing. You know, we bounced on the 786, we came back up, got rejected from the 618 fib up here. So ApeCoin against both Bitcoin and the US dollar are probably going lower, in my opinion. Joe with the 14, thank you for that, my friend. Can you check out BNX? Yeah, we'll go check out BNX now. I've never heard of BNX before, so when I am doing TA on this, bear in mind it's not going to be from a fundamental perspective. I will just be giving my opinions from a purely charting perspective. So let's see which chart has the most traded history, and then we'll jump right into it. This is basically the same amount of length. BTC, there's not much data traded on this one. BNX, is BNX new? BNX USD. Got Bidget, Femex, Bybit, Poloniex, KuCoin. We'll just add a few of these. Alright, I'll try and find a BNX chart that's got more than like a couple of weeks worth of data. Oh, we're on the weekly, so it's months actually, but there's really no data traded on this. Okay, this is the most macro chart that we've got, which is really, really not too good. BNX, let's check it out over on here. We might have to go over to Dex Screener if this does have a decent amount of time. So yeah, this is a completely different chart when you take it back this far. This is all the way into mid 2021. BNX over here, late 2021. So, alright, DEX screener. We'll check out DEX screener, and then hopefully there's a BNX chart. BNX USD. Let's see, 6 months. This one doesn't say how long this has been on for. 7 months, 2 months, USDT. So this should be no, all the charts are the same. This is basically what we have to run off. So yeah, like I said, we don't have much to run off over on BNX. I am just going to Google quickly crypto to see where this has come from. So binary X news, BNX. Because I imagine this has just been added on some exchange. Coinbase. I've never heard people talk about this before. But it does look pretty bearish to me, in my opinion at least. So, at least from the previous high to the low, you've come back and you've got rejected from your 618 Fibonacci, which is not a good sign. You could also argue this could be something playing out like a cup and handle pattern. I mean, we've just got a pretty big cup right now. So your 382 is the price to hold to the from the high to the low. This is where your target would be. Your breakout target is your 618. You're not macro bullish. I would really not touch BNX. It does seem like this has a low market cap, so, or it has a relatively low market cap, so I'd be waiting for the move above the 618 if you were looking to trade this. You can see so far you've double topped on your 618 fib, which is not a good sign in itself, but we're still slowly moving up, and we're literally sitting in your EMA ribbons right now, and we're sitting in the 13 EMA. We're going to zoom into that. So the 618 to the downside, $66 is still miles away. 0.5 is also going to be a major area of support to hold. 4 hourly time frame. Oops. Four-hourly time frame, you're still holding the 13 EMA, which is very interesting. This looks fairly bullish, but I'd still want to check out how it's performing against Bitcoin. It's performing super well against Bitcoin. I really like the setup of BNX. Not particularly against the US dollar. So why use the 13 EMA by Sundown Pro? The 13 EMA is at least my favorite moving average to determine whether we're bearish or bullish in the short term. A lot of the time, you know, it's pretty much a useless moving average when you're going sideways. But when you're either moving up or down in a trend, the 13 EMA is the first thing to keep your eyes on. For example, if we move over to Bitcoin, if we look at what Bitcoin did, the uptrend only really started the other day once we crossed the 13 EMA. You can see this here, like the 13 EMA, you can see we broke below it at 38,000. We moved all the way down to 25,000, trended sideways, got rejected from it, got rejected from it, got rejected from it. You can back test it, you push above it, and we literally had a move from 29,600 to 32,000 within a day after we managed to cross the 13 EMA. So the 13 EMA is a major level to hold. We've been through a ton of altcoins so far today, and a lot of them, the make or break level was literally the 13 EMA. But I really do like the setup we're seeing right now on BNX. I don't necessarily think we're super bullish against the US dollar. until you do break above $150. So if you see a break above 150, this could go all the way up to 180, and it could potentially come back up to the previous all-time high. From where we are now, if you were to trade this, up to the 618 is a 20% increase, but I think the most conservative target is to watch this to go to the 786. If you were to get in now, this could be a 50% increase. So against the US dollar, it's going to be pretty risky. If you were trading this, you would definitely need a tight stop loss. Where are we on the 4-hourly time frame? See if there's any potential entry for this. We recently came down to the 200 EMA, 4-hourly close on the 618 fib. You're basically waiting for the to push back above the EMA ribbon. So anywhere above $125, you're probably going to expect to rally up to 150. So a push above 125, if I was trading this, I'd have a very tight stop loss. Coming into the 200 EMA, $117. If you were trading this from where we are now, you could easily do over a 10x leverage on this, and if this did come down to the 200, this would be about a 4% loss, 40% on a 10x leverage. You'd be risking 40%. And if we come up to only the first target, which is the 618, that's over a 2x return. So I think BNX has a very beautiful setup. I'm actually glad I looked at this chart because I haven't seen too many altcoins which are performing too well. But the main thing about this is Bitcoin. Like, the Bitcoin pair on this looks so nice. We're back above the previous all-time highs from November 21. So BNX is doing majorly well against Bitcoin. And I think this is doing well because Bitcoin's moving up. Like, look at this. If we compare this against Bitcoin, we came up above the all-time high. This is really nice. BNX is a strange outlier. Yeah, it does seem that way. Let's check how correlated this is to Bitcoin. Should I clear this chart up? Yeah, I'm going to clear this chart up. So I want to see if this has moved when Bitcoin has moved. BTC USD, new pane. They do seem inverse, at least to the naked eye. Alright, this is a annoying scale here. No, they do seem fairly correlated. So they were perfectly correlated in the rally up here. They both ran down. They both bottomed at around the same time. They both had a bounce, filled the bottom, and since then, BNX has been moving up. It became a market outlier. Once Bitcoin started to break down bearish, BNX started to move up bullish, which is strange. So BNX is literally being a market outlier right now. You can see this is where the divergence came. Up until then, Bitcoin went up. They both went up, they both went down, they both went up, and then right here you've got a divergence. So BNX is doing its own thing right now, and while Bitcoin has started to head up, at least in the short term, BNX has pretty much stayed at the same level, which is interesting. It's almost like they're moving slightly inversely correlated. But I do think Bitcoin is going to keep on moving up. So this will definitely be an interesting one. Like I said, BNX looks exceptionally bullish against its Bitcoin pair. If you were going to be trading this on anything, I'd say Bitcoin settled futures would be the one to do this on. Like I said, it's not the most bullish against the US dollar, although potentially we could come up to 150, maybe even 180. But yeah, the BTC pair on this looks great. It looks like you found a market outlier or a winner with this one. Alright, we said we'd check out Rune earlier on, so we'll check out Rune. Let's see what's going on with Rune. How long have we been live for? An hour and a half, so we'll probably wrap it up in a little bit. Rune. Wrong chart. No worries, my friend. Where is Rune? I used to cover this all the time. It basically picked up hype after I left. But it seems like since my last videos on this, we've just been dumping. Let's clear up this chart a bit. I don't know what this is. This should be orange. This should be orange. So, from the low to the high, this was your most important level. We've broken below the 786. Rune looks terrible right now, I'm not going to lie. Rune looks absolutely garbage. We've just got... We had a head and shoulders here, we broke down below the neckline. This isn't a head and shoulders, but I just see emminess everywhere. Like, you can see there's a massive M pattern here. And then you were emming out here. And now with this, it's just hella emmy. The only way that you could survive this is if we have something like an expanded flat correction and we lollygag for the next couple of days. But I would say that Rune is probably going down to lower prices. It only recently, 2 days ago, got a very harsh rejection from your EMA ribbons. At this moment in time, or a couple of days ago, we had a fake out above the 13 EMA, and now we're sitting below the 13 EMA. So we're probably about to have a big move for Rune. I think it's more likely that we go back down to the downside before we do go up or do anything else. Let's see what we've got going on here from this low to this high. 1.618 is perfectly respected. 2.618 floor is where we're lollygagging at right now. To the candle body close, it was much better respected to the wick. 4 hourly time frame. Bears are definitely in control. Pretty flat volume. I'd say it's probably likely we're going to move down to the bottom of this channel. We could bounce around a bit, but where I think we're moving down to is the 3.618. 76 cent. Wow, that could really get brutal. I'll want to check out Rune BTC before I decide that it could get that ugly, because 73% is a pretty harsh drop. The market cap of this is very high as well, at least for what it is. So maybe, well, obviously this is a crypto market. I mean, it definitely can do a move like that. I don't want to say it's not. Rune BTC. Rune BTC almost seems like you could still be on support. So either way, we're going to have a big move coming for Rune. Either we're going to move to the top of this channel or we're going to break down. I would be sitting on the sidelines for Rune right now. I think the breakdown against the Bitcoin pair is more likely. Like I said, if we look at the Bitcoin dominance is going on a massive rally. We've got a beautiful red-green-red playing, a beautiful green-red-green formation playing out over on the Bitcoin dominance. So I think it's quite likely that the Bitcoin dominance keeps on moving up. And as I've been saying, Bitcoin dominance moves up, but these altcoins, especially the altcoin BTC pairs, they've mostly been moving down. So I'd say the trend is your friend on this one. I think the move to the downside is more likely for Rune. Rune BTC as well, probably very likely to get slaughtered quite soon. Unfortunately, we're below every fib. We didn't even make it up to the bounce. But we did come up this week, so bear in mind, this was literally this week. We broke below the 786 multiple times. The first time we broke below the 786, we pumped back above it in a week's time. The second time we had a candle wick down to the 786. We bounced off it. The third time we actually got rejected from it and moved down, but then moved back above it. But I feel like this is one too many times. We've just got a double rejection in the past 2 weeks from this. And I think it's about time that we head down. The weekly squeeze mom is flipping over in favor of the bears. The daily squeeze mom is lollygagging as we're trending sideways. But this doji candle with a spinning top pumping us back up to the 13 EMA but not getting us back above is a warning sign in my opinion. 4 hourly time frame, bears are in control, flat volume. No volume has come in to support runes since we came down to this trend line. And as you can see previously, when Rune did come down to these trend lines, you started to see an influx of volume, meaning that we were probably going to bounce off this. But if anything, volume has been decreasing since we came into this. So, you know, this was the opposite. We had volume start to run up when we came into this, but we're basically just lollygagging right now. It doesn't look good for Rune, in my opinion. BTC pair is exceptionally bearish, in my opinion, as well. Crazy, do you think $0.001 SLP is a good entry for a swing trade? Where is SLP at right now? SLP. So you said 0.001, so what is that, like an 80% drop? Damn. An 80% drop, yeah. 82% drop, that would be pretty brutal. You've got a 3.618 down at basically that target that you said, 1.15. We're basically in price discovery to the downside on SLP, so I don't think there's any level that I would per se look to buy the dip on. I would be waiting for a trend reversal, because just look at this. Look at how SLP is performing. This is only against the US dollar, by the way. Like, this is not the BTC pair, but it's terrible. I would not pick up SLP. I think SLP is only going to survive in a very, very bullish market environment. If any of you have read the Axie Infinity white paper, you know that SLP is basically a hyperinflationary token that they use to reward the Axie Infinity player base. So a lot of people think, you know, more people come and play Axie, you know, more developments happen on the Axie ecosystem, there's more players playing Axie, that's good for SLP, right? But it actually does the opposite. The only thing that's good for SLP is if investors that don't play the Axie Infinity ecosystem buy up the SLP token supply. When new players come and join the Axie ecosystem, they're basically rewarded with SLP, which is printed like there's no tomorrow. So it's almost like a money printer go brr for SLP. They're always printing, which is why you're seeing it just constantly landslide. Like, even though we're not seeing tons of bearish volume step in for SLP, it's just constantly rolling down. So to answer your question, I wouldn't personally enter at that price you said. I wouldn't dispute that it probably would go down to that price at some point. But I do think at some point SLP is going to be a good trade, but I think it's only going to be a good trade if we're in a bull market. I don't think it survives any other way. It's only going to go up if retail traders which don't actually play Axie Infinity buy up the token supply, which is a problem. They need to sort out the tokenomics. M&S, no worries, my friend. Kenny Development, you're the best. Appreciate it, my friend. Are you drinking a beer? No, I've got a Red Bull in front of me. Yeah, beautiful Red Bull. You can tell it's metal can. Only my second Red Bull today. Probably not too good. Thanks and have a nice day. Thank you as well, Kenny. You too. Yeah, I love Red Bull. Red Bull's my favourite drink. Or my favorite non-alcoholic drink. I wish water tastes like Red Bull. Maybe in heaven it does, even though I'm not Christian. Alright, what should we check out next? I think we've covered everything that everyone asked at the start of the stream. Kind of got poached with requests, so... But I think we've caught up on everything, so... E-Gold, yeah, a few people have asked for E-Gold. Let's check out what's going on with E-Gold. Water all the way. Yeah, I do like water. So I'll check out a few more altcoins and then we'll wrap up the video. Where is this drawn? Okay, so that's drawn to the counter body close, that's why it looks weird. E-Gold is another one of those that's capitulated below the 786 fib, so we don't even really need to check out how this is doing against Bitcoin, but I imagine it's getting slaughtered. E-Gold against Bitcoin is not looking good at all. You did break a super important macro trend line that's been going up for like 2 years now. And we only broke it in the past month or so. I haven't checked out E-Gold in like ages. The weekly EMA ribbons are about to flip bearish. That is going to be horrendous. But that could mean that in the short term, E-Gold could potentially be having a dead cat bounce up to some higher price targets. So I'd say within the next week, E-Gold is probably bound to have a bounce. Where could we have a bounce up to? Let's check out what the fibs are saying for this. Did I delete everything from this? Oh no, this is the BTC chart. So we've just come down to the 786. So you're probably very likely to have a bounce by the time we come down to 2390. That being said, if you do move below 2390, then it's going to be hell, because this was the previous all-time high. And then this was the previous all-time high as well. So this box absolutely needs to hold. We're going to get wrecked if you don't hold this box. This is your last line in the sand for E-Gold against Bitcoin. If we do capitulate below this, then... I mean, your lows down here are so far away. So you take out the bottom of this green box, it could really get wrecked. So against BTC by itself, it does look like the weekly EMA ribbons are about to flip bearish, which makes me think that we're probably going to have a dead cat bounce in the next week or so. Most of the time when you get altcoins have the... normally it's what happens when they get slaughtered. So you have an altcoin with a blow off top, it gets absolutely slaughtered, and the EMA ribbons fall down so fast and they flip. On the weekly time frame, you normally have a dead cat bounce back into them. I think this recently happened over on KNC. So we're probably very likely to have a bounce. Oh, it was probably on the daily time frame that we happened for KNC. You can see, you know, these flip bearish, we pile back into them, then get a rejection, then move down lower. And that is kind of what I expect to happen on E-Gold. That's for the BTC pair. The weekly has already flipped bearish, and we haven't had too much of a bounce on the USD pair, which is very worrying as well. The daily time frame on the USD pair, it doesn't look like it wants to have a bounce at all. Like, it looks like it just wants to keep on going down. So I'd maybe pay more attention to the USD pair on this one. But you've capitulated below the 786. You've capitulated below basically everything. I have no idea what this is. What even is this? How did this end up on my screen? But nonetheless, not looking good. The 13 EMA, once again, this is another reason why I love to use the 13 EMA. You can see this whole uptrend perfectly supported by the 13 EMA, and then, you know, the price majorly moves below it. And when you normally see the 13 EMA do something like this or something like this, you know that you're about to have that major move. And when we did have that major move on E-Gold, ever since then, every time we've run into it, we've moved lower. You run into it, you move lower. You run into it, you move lower. And once again here, move into it, went lower, move into it, we're probably going lower. So in the short term, I believe on my last video for eGold, whenever that was, we were calling for a 41% drop. From where we are now, it's about another 31% drop. So I'm expecting this to come down to $53, $54 for eGold. You've got a 1.618 fib down here. This also perfectly lines up with your lows. But then the problem with that is almost like your last line in the sand. If we don't hold that, then we're going to be pretty much screwed. We'd be coming all the way down to $34. So I think we're coming down to $54. But if we start majorly pushing below 34, more specifically $52.95, then you would be coming all the way down to 35. eGold looks bearish to me, to sum it up quite quickly. We keep on moving into the 13 EMA and the BEM and the EMA ribbons. I was about to call them bear ribbons, but I mean they pretty much are bearish ribbons. So yeah, eGold BTC pair looks terrible. Like I said, it might hopefully have a bounce, but volume is indicative of what's going to happen in the price, and the volume is exponentially increasing for eGold. So line of best fit, something like this, exponentially increasing, and you know the bottom's not in until it stops to taper off. Just like we knew this on the flip side. For example, look at this exponential volume running up. This is how we knew here that the volume was going to keep on increasing, so it wasn't time to sell. We knew here the volume was keeping on increasing. We knew here that the volume was going to keep on increasing. And as you can see here, the volume starts to taper off and go down, and then this is when you start to have this trend shift to lower price targets. So volume really does predict price. Until we see a change in volume, I would just not be worried about eGold. Aave for a trade, we'll check out Aave. OP as well, we'll check out OP. DCA and altcoins will wait a bit longer. I'm personally not bothered about DCAing and altcoins. I said this in all my videos recently, but just keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance. Basically, if the Bitcoin dominance keeps on moving up, Bitcoin is very much likely to keep on outperforming altcoins. And this is moving up. Bitcoin dominance on the daily is I think it's only up a tiny bit. Up 0.35%. That's still a decent amount for the Bitcoin dominance. We've got a green, red, green formation. We're probably very likely to keep on pushing up. And if we switch over to Binance, if we switch over to our other Brave browser where we get our macro charts, this is the total 2, which is basically the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin. This is basically the altcoin market cap. And you can see this is your 618 fib. This is your most important level. Whether you're below or above that basically defines whether you're macro bullish or bearish. And you know, we're currently bear flagging beneath it. So this is the altcoin market cap. We're super bearish. If we were to have this breakdown of this bear flag, then this could wipe out a lot of gains in the altcoin market cap. From where we are now, a breakdown fulfilling this bear target can wipe out 245 billion from the altcoin market cap. That's about a 38% drop from where we are right now. And if the altcoin market cap was going to come all the way down to the 786, then that would wipe out basically 242 billion from the breakdown, which would be very nasty. What did we do in the first altcoin market, 2015 to 2018? It looks like we held... No, we didn't. We didn't hold anything. So if history was to repeat itself, it's probably likely that we're at least coming down to the 786, if not lower, for the altcoin market cap. I think it'd be a little bit bearish to expect to move below 400 billion in terms of the altcoin market cap. I do expect there's going to be diminished returns to the upside and downside. So I would find it very hard to believe that the altcoin market cap is going to move below the 786 at 400 billion. I personally think that would be very, very respectable. And then at that moment in time, if Bitcoin was sitting at approximately 60%, which is where I think the Bitcoin dominance is going to move up to, if the Bitcoin dominance is sitting at about 60%, then what could that make that? That could make it a $1 trillion market cap, 400 billion valuation in the altcoins, 600 billion valuation over on Bitcoin. I think that's where I see Bitcoin panning out to go. And like I said, that would mean lower price targets for the alts. Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to move up. We've been going through the altcoin pairs as we go through this video, but basically all the altcoin pairs are getting wrecked against Bitcoin. Doesn't matter what you're looking at. They're all getting wrecked against Bitcoin. So right now, I don't think it's the time to DCA alts. If you find an alt that looks like it has a nice trade setup, then fair enough. But I wouldn't be looking at any long-term positions for alts. One other thing I want to show people, because I appreciate probably not everyone watches all my videos, but I made a video talking about why I don't think it's going to be the time to buy altcoins for a while, and I'll just reiterate some of the main points from that video now. If we go over to where Bitcoin had its bear market bottom, this was coming in at the 10th of December 2018. If we come over here, you can see the last bear market bottom was the 10th of December 2018. And a lot of people imagine, and I've heard a lot of people say this, you know, after Bitcoin has its bear market bottom, the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. That's what everyone's been saying. But you can go over to any of these altcoins, and this was where Bitcoin bottomed. And we're looking at the altcoin pairs, for example. We could look at any of them. We'll move over to ETH BTC in a second just to show you. But I mean, this was where Bitcoin bottomed, and you can see ADA against Bitcoin. So how ADA performed against Bitcoin, it went up when Bitcoin had a bounce, but then as Bitcoin came back down to fill the low, ADA got slaughtered compared to what Bitcoin did. So Bitcoin's bottom was the 10th of December. ADA did not bottom against Bitcoin until the 5th of August 2019. So, you know, ADA had its bottom against Bitcoin 238 days after the Bitcoin bear market bottom was in, which is why I think, you know, people don't need to be rushing into alts right now. You're going to know when it's cheap alt season, but I don't think now is cheap alt season. And also, like I said, another example, 10th of December, this is where Bitcoin bottomed. We're looking at the ETH BTC pair. You can see, when did Ethereum bottom against Bitcoin? It bottomed all the way down here, September of 2019. So 266 days, 38 weeks. A lot of these altcoins, when Bitcoin bottoms, confidence is going to be out of the market. Like, you know, when Bitcoin has its low, that's going to be when the most amount of bears are in the market and when the least amount of confidence is in the market. And it takes a while to have that confidence return back into the market. So Bitcoin may bounce, but when it comes back down, and it will come back down to double test that low, I always think these bottoms are going to take time to play out, but it's going to take a while. It's going to be a while until it's altcoin season, in my opinion. So that's why I've been very, very adamant, and that's why I've been covering Bitcoin more than anything else, because I think everyone should recognize that Bitcoin is king in these bear markets. And, you know, just look at how these altcoins are performing against Bitcoin. They're all crashing. So yeah, it's not altcoin time for me, in my opinion. Algo price prediction in the next bull run. Well, Algo has pretty great fundamentals. However, the chart isn't as bullish as I would want it to be. It's almost done something like an XRP, where it's made a lower high in this bull run. But I do think one day Algorand is going to go to $10. What's Algo's market cap right now? Because I mean, it's making partnerships with FIFA. I swear it's making an NFT collection with like the Toronto Zoo or something like that, or the Australia Zoo. Like they've got a lot of big partnerships. I think even Steve Irwin has co-signed Algorand. The Algorand blockchain, the market cap of this is coming in at 2.6 billion. So the price of this right now is about 38 cents. This, let's call it 40 cent. It would need to increase about 2.5x. So 2.6 billion times by 2.5. 6.5 billion for Algorand would be about $10. Or would be about no, I've slaughtered the maths. Where have I got $10 from? So what would the market cap be at $10? It's 38 cent now. I don't know how I did that maths. That was so garbage. The market cap right now is about 2.5. I definitely think this could easily go to 10. 10 or higher. It's got the fundamentals. It's been around long enough. It's been open long enough. They've never had problems with their blockchain. I think people are starting to use NFTs on Algorand as well. And Algorand's just doing a lot for the space. So I think $10 is where I think Algorand should be into the next bull run. Bet it was fun in the last bull run you was in. Are the gains as crazy as you hear? I didn't really get in at a good time in quote unquote the last bull run. I got in after Bitcoin had already topped out. But technically, I bought my first Bitcoins at around about $700. And I was very, very young. It must have been somewhere around about here. 2016, I bought a couple of Bitcoins. I had no idea what they were. But yeah, I only really got into it round about when it was crashing at around about $8,000 to $7,000. And I held on to it for like 6 months, and then it massively capitulated. I was also heavy in altcoins back here. I was a big fan of Chainlink and XRP. I basically lived through the bear market, but I didn't get to experience the 2018 bull market. So it sucked, but I had a very good time in this bull market because I took a decent amount of profits as I was going, and I was basically like selling my organs round about $4,000, and I was heavily piling in at 4,000, heavily piling in at 7,000, 9,000. I piled in at 10, 15. I was buying this all the way up. So yeah, this bull run definitely did me well. I look forward to the next one, but unfortunately I was not really around for this space. I had a tiny bit of crypto in my Coinbase, but it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't anything crazy whatsoever. So, and also, even if I was around, I probably would have messed up trading this. Let's read some comments. Check out HNT. Yeah, we'll check out HNT next. I think this is down here somewhere. So we'll check out Helium. Helium looks pretty bad. When Bitcoin bottoms, how would you pick a good altcoin at its cheapest? Besides BNB, of course, I have that. I think you just want to look for projects that are innovating and projects that have managed to survive the bear market. And it's going to be very, very obvious which ones are still innovating and which ones are surviving. For example, what I mean by that is, you know, the projects like the Move to Earns that have been around for the past couple of months, things like Gene, Green Satoshi Token, Green Metaverse Token, FitFi, none of these are particularly innovating in the crypto space. They're more of like a copy and paste of each other. But then we've had, you know, new technology come in. I can't think of too much off the top of my head, but at least since I was here in the last bear market, we've had massive innovation in blockchains like Solana, which are trying to make, you know, blockchains more scalable, NFT platforms on top of all these different things. It's the projects like this which are going to survive, in my opinion, and it's the hundreds of Dogecoins, you know, Dogecoin and Shiba, ELON. I'm not saying they're going to go anywhere, but, you know, shit coins like Doge, Shiba Inu, Shib Dog Inu. I mean, just type in Inu. And I mean, all of these type of things, I think these are going to be gone. A great thing to do is look at Coin Market Cap, because you can check out what's trending. And then from here, you know, if I was to look at this, we could check out GMT. And then we could do more research on here. We could go check out their Twitter and look at their social metrics. Unfortunately, I can't pull up my Twitter yet because I've got a new PC and I haven't signed in on either Discord or Twitter on my new PC yet. So that is something I'm going to need to do at some point soon. I'm going to wrap up the live stream soon. Just checking up the comments. Cadena, yeah, we'll also check out Cadena in a second. Is there any slaughter? Only in the altcoins. 1 hour view, there's a bowl formation in Cadena. Can you look at Solana? Yeah, I'll quickly check out Solana. I checked it out earlier, so I'll just briefly cover it. And then we'll check out Aave, and then I'll probably wrap up the stream. Because we have been streaming for 2 hours now, so yeah, I'm probably going to wrap things up after that. So, Cadena, we said HNT. And then we'll check out these other ones, and then we'll wrap up the stream. So, HNT, I mean, this looks very bad. I would not trade HNT right now. HNT BTC, can we check out the BTC pair on this? Yes, we can. What is the market cap of this right now? Does anyone here actually have a helium miner? Because it's an interesting project. Like from a fundamental perspective, this is probably one of the most interesting projects that has come out in the past year or so. Like I really think helium has huge potential, but it's obviously just not going to perform well over this bear market. The chart looks really bad against Bitcoin. It looks really bad as well. From a fundamental perspective, fundamentals are good on this. And also, like I said, if anyone actually has a helium miner, I'd be very interested to know when did you pay off your initial investment on that? How much do you make? How does it work? Because the helium miners seem quite cool, but at least right now against the US dollar and probably against Bitcoin, they really just look like they're getting slaughtered. Against Bitcoin, the weekly EMAs are about to flip bearish. On the daily, we've just tried to cross over the 13 EMA, and we just got rejected from the EMA ribbons. And the last time we did this, we had a big move down. The time before that, we did this, we had a big move down. I don't think helium looks good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Helium looks pretty bad against Bitcoin, and it looks terrible against the US dollar. I mean, looking at this on the Heikanashi, we have basically no data traded now. This was the previous all-time high. We've already back-tested it. $6.74. Once you capitulate below $6.74, we're probably coming down to a couple of dollars or so, maybe. I don't see much support for this down until like $3, $2.88. From where we are now, I think we're at least coming back down to the lows. But yeah, this chart looks really bad. I really don't like the setup for helium. If anything, I'd be shorting this right now, as we've just got rejected from the EMA ribbons. But yeah, like I said, it's got good utility. I do like this from a fundamental perspective, and I'm definitely interested in learning more about helium miners over the bear market. I dollar cost average on helium and have Bobcat when it was 250, but now the rewards are bad, but they have so much utility in growing. What are the rewards saying? So if you got one of the miners when it was 250, did you ever pay off your initial investment on these? Because at some point these were reselling for crazy prices. Helium miner, they all sold out, and yeah, I mean they're going for, I mean these are in Great British Pound prices as well, because this is from where I'm from. So even the cheapest one, 289, that's probably what, like $330 or so. Goosebumps, hi Cowboy, what's up my friend? Where do you think Bitcoin will go in the next 4 hours? Let's check out what's going on with Bitcoin. The next 4 hours, I wouldn't make a bet on what it's gonna do in the next 4 hours, simply because we're kind of getting rejected from the EMAs right now. So I don't think in the short term you've got like a clear trade. Like I'm sure if you were looking for like a leverage long or a short for this in the next short period of time, it looks like it can go either way. But in my opinion, if you ask me for like where are we gonna be in the next 48 hours, in the next couple of days, I do think we are going to be breaking back above 30,600. So I think the general direction is up for Bitcoin over the next 2 weeks into the next FOMC meeting. The next FOMC meeting is on the 15th. And the dollar's coming down. Like, the dollar's getting brutalized right now. We came up back into this trend, and it looks like we must have held something. We bounced on the 0.5. And now we're coming right back down to it. So the dollar's bearish, the stock market's breaking bullish because of it. And because of that, I think in the next couple of days, within the next 2 weeks, Bitcoin's going to be moving up to higher price targets. But where is it going to be in 4 hours? My crystal ball is not working for that one. I wouldn't know. Probably sideways. I don't think it's going to do a lot in the next 4 to 8 hours. Especially as we're sitting in these EMAs. There's barely any volume right now. Lower time frame volume is super flat, so yeah. We are above the 13 EMA as well though, and earlier yesterday rather, we backtested the 618 and the 13 EMA, so everything looks like we want to go to higher price targets in the next couple of days or so. But yeah, the next 4 hours, who knows really. Brutal slaughterfest to the downside for the dollar. Yeah, the dollar, I really do think we are probably going to top out very, very soon. But as I always say, don't count the dollar out until it's fallen out of this support level, because people counted the dollar out back here. We dropped like 5% or so. I've got it the wrong way around. But we dropped like 5% and then we literally just moon rocketed, so we definitely need to we need to start falling out of this red box. And we need to start falling out of these EMA ribbons, but hopefully the dollar can keep on moving down. So we'll check out Solana, like I said, we'll check out KDA as well, and then we're probably gonna wrap it up after then, and I'm gonna end the stream. So let's check out what's going on here. By the way, before we go into Solana, just momentarily, because I've already covered Solana earlier, so I'll just quickly update on it. But if you are still watching this stream, make sure you smash the like. Definitely helps me out with the engagement on that. Yeah, just very quickly on Solana. Solana BTC is really, really harsh. Solana USD, I mean, this is pretty bad, but Solana BTC, this is the main thing everyone should be focusing on, because this is going to be a leading indicator of what happens over on Solana, over on Sol USD, because Sol BTC is capitulating below the 786. If you do have a weekly close below this 786 at 144, then we're going to go down to much lower price targets. I think we're coming all the way down to the 1.618. You know, we've already broken below the previous all-time high in 2021. So it seems pretty black and white that Solana's probably going to get wrecked. If we switch over to the Heikinashi candles, you can see volume is exponentially increasing. Bears are definitely in control of what is going on with Solana. And the USD pair is basically the same. But what's interesting on the USD pair is we had such a black and white clear rejection, where we've come up, we had the blow off top, And then we came down, we back tested the 786, got rejected from the 0.5, and then ever since then, we've just fallen below all of these fibs. So Sol USD, it's going to much lower prices in my opinion. Unfortunately, but like I said, I mean, I've already sold a lot of my Solana, so I actually am kind of happy that it's going to lower prices. I sold in the past couple of weeks, and like I've been saying, this is my price target. This is where I think we're moving down to. $36, $36.70. This is your 1.618, your absolute last line in the sand. If you see Solana start to slip below $37, then in my opinion, we're coming all the way down to $26 and $19. Which is where we've got previous candle body closes and previous candle wicks down to this triple bottom structure, which should hopefully hold up. Like $19, if we capitulate below $19, then we're probably going to get massively wrecked on Solana. So hopefully we don't see that. But like I said, these are where I think we're coming down from, about another 35% drop. Potentially as harsh as 53% against the US dollar. Before we do turn around. Aave, yeah, I will cover Aave as well before we do wrap up the video. In fact, we'll check out Aave now before we move on. If I can find it. I've definitely covered Aave before, so I should have this. It's been a long time since I've covered it though, so I don't think I would have deleted it. Aave. Maybe I have deleted it. Maybe if I add it back, I would still have. So I don't want to know the market cap. Why is my TradingView in light mode? Because I have two different TradingView accounts, and when I post a photo on my YouTube, if you see that the background is white like this, then you'll know that it's a short-term analysis video. If you see the background and it's in dark mode, then you'll know it's a long-term video. So if you've noticed that on my channel, whenever you see this black chart, or whenever you see me post a TradingView chart that's black, it's going to be a macro analysis video. Whereas if I post a video and it's got a white background, then it's just going to be a short-term analysis video. So I like to differentiate between the two charts that way. But yeah, Aave. Apparently I have no drawings on this over on Binance. And no drawings on this on Coinbase. So Binance looks like it goes back for longer. Aave against the US dollar also doesn't look good. Let's get rid of your moving averages from the low to the high. What's the market cap of this? Wow, the market cap of this is quite high for what it is as well. There's a decent amount of the circulating supply out though, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. So 2021, it's been pretty bearish since then. It's been bearish against Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean, we've massively capitulated below the 786 fib, so there's really not too much to say. On the weekly time frame, we're coming back to the candle body close of the all-time high from the fib, from the low to the high. That was hard to say, but I don't see Aave going higher than $132 on this next bounce. And what I mean by that is, you know, I've been saying for the past couple of days now that in the next week, in the next 2 weeks before the next FOMC meeting, I think Bitcoin's going to have a very, very solid chance of bouncing back up to, you know, areas like 34,000, 36,000, potentially even 38,000. So a lot of the altcoins can have a bounce during that period of time. We're definitely going to need to check out how Aave is performing against Bitcoin. Do we not have an Aave BTC chart? Oh, maybe I've just spelt it wrong again. Aave against BTC, also looking pretty bearish and bleeding out. You're literally retesting the last line in the sand right now. So it looks pretty bearish in my opinion. Very, very emmy, very, very choppy right now. Daily time frame. You are above the 13 EMA against the BTC pair, but still, it almost seems like we're channeling to the side right now. So maybe using the 13 EMA while we're in a channel is not the best idea. I always say this: 13 EMA is pretty much useless when you're either in a channel or you're trending sideways, and that's what we're doing right now. So we can go up in the short term against Bitcoin, but I don't think, like I said, we'd be going higher than 133. So in the short term, we might come up a tiny bit more, maybe even 23% or so, but it does not look good, at least in my opinion. A decent amount of volume holding this up. We'd really want to see continuation. So like I said, I don't think we'll be going above 134, but that is your moon line. If you do want to be bullish on Aave, then call it $134. Unless you break above there, then I definitely wouldn't be getting excited whatsoever. That's just my opinion. But Aave seems pretty bearish in my opinion. We're below the EMA ribbons as well. There's just not a lot I like about this chart. I just think we're chopping out to the downside. So yeah, that's basically Aave. Not a fan of this chart. Who's shorting ICP? I definitely might have to short ICP. If we come up to if we come up to $11.20, or if we come up to $10.20 and we have a harsh rejection, I definitely might short. Because on the inverse chart, I think this would be a retest of the previous quote-unquote all-time high. Or no, it wouldn't be quite here. It would be here. A pullback into the bottom of these EMAs and this previous all-time high at $11.33. That would probably mean ICP goes in the zero direction. Obviously, this is the inverse chart, so this would be meaning we move down this way. So yeah, ICP is pretty bearish. So you think we are near the bottom now for Bitcoin, or maybe a little pump to the FOMC meeting, then could go a little bit lower. I think what's happening is I think the bottom is very near. I've been saying this, that I think the Bitcoin bottom is the 200-week moving average at 22k. I think, like, if we just look at this historically, the candle body close of literally the first bear market back in 2015 was on the 200-week. The candle body close of the previous bear market in 2018 was on the 200-week. The candle body close of the pandemic scare was on the 200-week. And now we're basically going into, you know, like World War III type beat, increased interest rate type inflation, bear market type scenario. I think it's very, very likely that we move down to 22k. But like I've been saying, in the short term, this is our 10th week. Like, I don't think we're going to put in 10 or 11 weeks of red candles in a row. Like, what we've seen in the past month or two has been absolutely brutal. So I think the next week or two, we at least move up to 34,000. I definitely think we're moving up to 34. I think it's more likely we'll move up to like 35, 36, and then 38,000 maybe on the table, but that would be like my maximum area where I think Bitcoin would move up to. So to answer your question, in the short term, next 2 weeks, yes, I think we're going to be pumping into the next FOMC meeting. The 15th, so the next 13 days is when the next FOMC is. We'll pump for the next 13 days, maybe the next 14, and then we'll dump in the 16th. And then we'll come down to the 200 week, which at that time would be around about 23,000. And then I think we'd probably bounce up to 50,000, maybe 45. And then we'd come back down to maybe 29 again, and then bounce out and W out with a big double bottom W breakout from the bear market type pattern like this. And I think that we're going to do a double bottom as euphoric as that, because that is literally what we did here. You can see we came down, had a massive bottom, huge run up, almost back up to the all-time high, and then we came down had that double bottom, almost like a big W breakout. And then once again as well, you go back to what happened in 2015. You had this big flush out, massive pullback. You kind of came back to W, had a big pull down on this wick, and then just came out. So we've done it every single time so far. I think it's very, very likely we repeat this type of scenario once again. Don't think this will play out every market cycle, but I definitely think this is what's going to be playing out this market cycle. $10 is the level to short, yeah. Alright, so we recently covered Solana. Some guy called Ryan, who has a YouTube channel all in on KDA, crazy. Yeah, some people commented on my videos and told me that apparently he told everyone to unsubscribe to them if they weren't a KDA holder. And I think I searched for his channel and could confirm that that is actually what he posted, which is quite degenerative. KO, what's up, my friend? So yeah, we covered Solana, we covered Aave. What's next? I think we'll do one or two more, and then we're gonna wrap up the video from here, because the live stream's been what, almost 2 hours and a half now. We'll do another two updates. I see a lot of people saying BNB, so we'll probably cover BNB. And then one other. So we'll check out what's going on with BNB. And then whatever has the most requests after BNB, I'll check that out. And then we'll wrap up the video. So yeah, let's check out what's going on. I'll give a brief update towards the end of the stream as well on what I think is going to be playing out for Bitcoin for the next day or so. Just need to find my BNB pairs. BNB BTC still holding in there. Definitely have BNB somewhere. Yeah, I do. It's here. So I just need to find that chart. BNB. Where is BNB? It's the bane of my existence, finding all these altcoins in this this pile. Where on earth is it? It should be near here. It says I've got a BNB chart, so I should have one. Might just have to delete it and research for it. I swear it should be around here. Am I just blind? Have I gone past it like 10 times? Okay, I'm just gonna have to delete it. I can't. If we delete it, BNB USD. It came up with one before. There's no way I don't have a BNB chart. I had a BNB chart. Was it on Coinbase and did it get taken off or something? Do you hold Control plus F? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Do you hold any alts long term or just jump in and out for trades? I kind of hold some alts for the long term. I don't hold any, or I don't hold many altcoin coins for the long term. I really only hold Solana. I have one Solana token called Bounty, and I also need to check out how Bounty is doing. I've never covered it on my channel, but this is a altcoin that I cover. It's just been going sideways pretty much. I have an NFT that I have staked that generates this. But apart from Solana, apart from a Solana token called Bounty, and apart from my Solana NFTs, my whole portfolio, and also ELON, I hold some ELON. Apart from that, I'm pretty much all in on Bitcoin right now. But I really trade altcoins in order to gain more Bitcoin. So I always look at altcoin trades as a way to gain more Bitcoin rather than gain more alts or gain more USD. But it looks like we're going to have to run off a new Binance chart because apparently I never had one, which I know I did because I've done analysis on this before. So I don't know why this is dipping, but Binance USD. It looks pretty nasty. It looks like we're about to have a weekly EMA ribbon flip. The daily time frame. It looks like we're in a pretty wham bear flag that we've just broken out of. Depending on how you want to draw it. I think no matter how you draw it, even the line of best fit like this, you've still capitulated below it. If we were to break down from here, which we already have, $165, I don't necessarily think we're going to go that low. That is just basically the next price level down. That also comes down to the next fib, so the 786 fib. And to be honest, I don't see Binance not coming down to the 786 before the bear market lowers in. It's interesting to see. Get rid of that notification. So how did BNB do? When Bitcoin bottomed down in December, this is super interesting. It looks like it might have almost tried to hold the 786 fib from its bull run. So you held the 786, and you capitulated below it later, but you basically almost held the 786 the whole way through. And we're coming down to the 786 now, or we're coming down to the 618, and it looks like we're breaking below it. So I do expect Binance to go to lower price targets. EMA ribbon flip on the weekly is pretty telling as well. We've got rejected multiple times over on BNB USD. Also got an M pattern breakdown that has just carried us below this bear flag. So I think we're going down to lower prices. Squeeze bomb, we're running out of momentum in favor of the bulls. 4-hourly time frame. We've already flipped over and bears are taking over this trend. So it seems pretty bearish to me. I'm not a big fan of BNB USD or BNB BTC right now. BNB BTC as well has just had a super harsh rejection from the 13 EMA. So, you know, we're still trending sideways, or we're still in this pattern. So like I say, the 13 EMA is almost useless to use when you're trending sideways, which is pretty much what we're doing now. But I do think we're waiting for this breakdown on the Bitcoin pair. Like, I really just don't see BNB holding up. I mean, it's had a crazy run up against Bitcoin this market cycle. Short ICP a bit. I'm sure it will pay 5 to 10%. I might short ICP when it looks like it has finished turning up. But ICP right now looks like it wants to turn up a bit more. Like I said, on the daily time frame, I think we said we're breaking out of this, so I think we're going up to like $11, $10.28. After you get a harsh rejection with volume coming in, that's probably the time to short ICP. We've got a lot of volume coming in right now, so I definitely wait until volume stops to support the uptrend. I'm definitely not an ICP bull. If you watch any of my videos on ICP, I always put it in the inverse chart and basically violate it. But at least in the short term, it does look like ICP wants to, you know, maybe go up a bit more. Maybe I could see ICP go up another 20%, another 10, 20% before it starts to roll down. But yeah, definitely don't be fooled. ICP's done this many times. You zoom out and it has these bounces. I mean, because people forget, ICP is down like 99.9% from the previous all-time high. So when it does like 100% rally, it's really only going from like minus 99% to minus 98%. So ICP, I think this is going to slowly bleed out to zero. But I still think people are going to Gonna fanboy over this one. I will buy more BNB when it drops. Best of luck with that. Filecoin, lowest you think it can go? Well, it's basically in price discovery to the downside right now, so probably a lot lower. What's the market cap of this right now? Once again, the market cap of this is way too high for what it should be valued at, in my opinion. Against Bitcoin, this is probably doing terrible as well. Do you do this as a full-time job, trade in crypto? Yeah, this is my job. Crypto trading, stock trading, asset trading is my job. Before crypto, I used to trade in the stock market, and I also used to resell Rolexes for a short while before this, which was very fun. But now it's impossible to buy Rolexes in my country. Like, you know, I always used to think this. Like, when I had no money, I was like, all I need is money to buy a Rolex. And then when you get the money to buy a Rolex, you realize you walk into a Rolex store and you're like, hi, can I have my Rolex of choice? And they're like, you want your Rolex of choice? Bang, waiting list for 10 years. And then you just never get the call. Or if you miss the call, they'll just call someone else after you. And then that person will probably guarantee to take the watch. It's so hard to buy a Rolex in this country. It sucks. It sucks. Waiting list for them. Yeah, the waiting lists suck. Honestly, it's a joke. File. I mean, the problem with this is we're in price discovery to the downside now. So the only thing we can run off is fibs. Or there might be a trend line that I haven't noticed yet. The 1.618 was held perfectly. The next price target down is literally in the minuses. So it's basically anyone's guess how far Filecoin can go down. The problem is, you know, like I said, this was your low. So we don't have data traded around this region. But considering the market cap of Filecoin is like so oversold right now, I mean, I wouldn't be, or so overbought rather, because I believe it's overvalued. I don't think that it would be, I think we can go a lot lower is what I'm trying to say, maybe $1, $2, but I wouldn't be surprised if Filecoin has a massive fall from grace. It doesn't deserve to be in the top 41, at least in my opinion. To buy 6-month waiting list only. I need to go to buy to get them from now on then. You can basically only get like date justs in this country. And they're all the bad ones as well. So I'll probably cover one more. I'll cover one more altcoin and then we'll wrap up the video. So let's see. You should do a video on your top 10 altcoin gems. Yeah, I definitely will do those type of videos when it's more of like an altcoin season. But I don't want to make like my top 10 altcoin videos now because I feel like, you know, like I said, I think Bitcoin's going up to like 34,000 and then I think it's going down to 22,000. And at that point in time, I think a lot of altcoins are just going to disappear off the face of this earth. I don't know how many of you watch like my playlist on my YouTube channel, but I've got a Bitcoin playlist called Microdosing Bitcoin. And I made a video where we went through the top 25 cryptos of 2018 and compared them to the top 25 cryptos of this year now. And the problem is, you know, after you have a bear market and then you enter into a new bull market, the top 25 altcoins and all the altcoins that are performing well, they completely get swapped over. So at this moment in time, I don't think it's the right time to focus on altcoins, and I don't think it's the right time to like marry an altcoin and be like, these are my top 10 favorite altcoins. I'm really going to be open-minded and sit on the sidelines and wait for when I believe the next bull run is going to be starting, or not the next bull run, because you can't exactly call like Bitcoin bottoming down. Where did it bottom? Like $3,100. Like, you can't call this, the start of the bull run, because it wasn't a bull run for the altcoins and it wasn't a bull run for Bitcoin until we really got out of the pandemic scare. But this is the kind of period in time where I'd be looking to buy altcoins and, thinking about the top 10 altcoins that would perform. Right now, I think we're in this kind of phase, and a lot of the altcoins that we know at this period in time are probably going to disappear. So I think my answer would definitely change. But at this moment in time, I think I don't even know, can I say Solana? I think this is a very underrated token called Bounty. This is part of an NFT marketplace called the Bounty Hunter Space Guild. If we go over to Magic Eden, I did a NFT giveaway on this project in my Discord the other day. But this project's really good, and you can stake your NFT for this token called Bounty. And I never plan on selling my NFT. Like, this is my YouTube profile pic, so I really don't care if the price of this of my NFT goes to like $1. I also don't really care if it goes to like $10,000. I probably wouldn't really blink too much of an eye if it went to like $100,000. Like, I'd probably much rather just keep the profile pic. But yeah, you can also use this token to participate in their black market, as they call it. And they sell like tons of these crazy different things on their black market, and you can buy them with Bounty. And most of the time, like for example, if you buy a Bounty Hunter and stake it, you'll earn enough Bounty to be able to buy these NFTs. Like, you won't have to spend extra money, like you'll just be able to buy these quite frequently. And most of the time, you buy one of these NFTs, and they always do well. Like, all of these that you see here, if you bought them for their bounty value when they appeared on the black market, and you bought them with this token Bounty, you would have basically been able to flip it for a very, very quick return, very, very fast. So I definitely think this is good. The floor of these things as well is like doubled as well, which is great, because I picked up a bunch of these the other day. I think I've got like three of these guns as well. But yeah, these are all like really small things. HB Kings, keep up the good work. Appreciate that, my friend. Tech World, I like Matic. Do you have Matic videos? I used to cover Matic quite frequently, but I haven't covered it as often for quite a while. 100k sell and take a screenshot, mate. What? 100k sell of what? If the NFT floor went up to that price, is that what you're saying? Do you think KDA will survive a bear market? I do think KDA will survive a bear market, but I think a lot of people are basically getting brainwashed by people like that Ryan YouTuber guy. And people have basically been conditioned to be exit liquidity for the past couple of months. Like, if you've been watching my KDA videos, I started covering this at like $6.50. And I've been telling people we're bearish, but YouTubers have still been like, KDA is going to go up in a straight line and go to the moon. And I think people are underestimating how far this can go down before it returns. I think $1 or even 80 cents is very, very likely. This is a new project. It still has a long way to go to prove itself. And the market cap, 383 million is a lot, considering that it's very, very new. Also, the tokenomics are really bad on KDA, which is the only thing I'll say for this. The tokenomics are literal garbage. But I do think this will do well. I do think it will do well. But like I said, I think people underestimate how ugly it can get before it turns back bullish. I think it's going down to $1, and $1 is, believe it or not, my conservative target of where I think KDA is going down. I think it's much more likely we go down to 80 cent. We might even come down to the 1.618 at 45 cent. We could come back down to the lows at 29 cent. I will be waiting for a trend reversal on this. I'm not really too worried about, you know, DCAing into it now. You know, people have been telling me to DCA at $5. They told me to DCA at $3.50. They're telling me to DCA now at $2, and I've just been sitting on the sidelines for a very long time for this. I think a lot of altcoins are going to continue to get wrecked. I mean, just look at the Bitcoin dominance. Every day, the Bitcoin dominance is slowly shuffling to the upside as it breaks out after bull flag, after bull flag, after bull flag. Bitcoin is clearly massively outperforming all these altcoins right now. And I mean, KDA, BTC is super bearish. So yeah, I do think KDA survives the bear market, but I don't like to think, and what I mean by I don't like to think, because obviously you should think, I don't like to think and assume that something is going to make it out just because I think it's going to make it out. I think it's going to make it out, but I'm going to wait for the end of what I perceive to be the end of the bear market. And I'm going to wait to see, you know, are the teams still building? Are the teams still active? Is there still a big community over on KDA? Are they still, you know, offering funds? Because, like, one thing I like about KDA is they have been offering funds to people that want to build on top of their blockchain, which is good for development's sake. So if things like that keep on happening, it's going to be good for KDA, in my opinion. But like I said, the bear market will cleanse the shitcoins. I don't think it's a shitcoin, but I think it is a coin that hasn't proved itself yet, and people are piling into it like it's, you know, digital gold, or like this has been a blockchain that's been around for years and years and years. Like, this is still very, very new. So people are calling it underrated. I'd say it's overrated. But like I said, we're going to need to see in the next couple of months or so how this reacts. That Ryan went all in at like $20. That's brutal if he went all in at like $20. He's 90% down. Oh yeah, and gains. Yeah, I literally don't even think I'd sell it for 100k. Because my problem is, like, my profile pic is I just think it really goes well with my YouTube channel. I think it just looks good. I think it sums up my channel quite nicely. So I wouldn't be pressed to sell it at all. Like a million, and that's a different question. But I can get a new profile pic for $1 million. But 100k, I still don't even think I'd be interested. I might get a tattoo of my profile pic on YouTube if I hit like 25k. And then I'd really never sell it because, you know, if I got it tattooed on my leg, it'd probably be pretty stupid to sell. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's just see how the YouTube plans out, I guess. Manifest it. Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're grinding for. It's crazy. When I started my channel, I started it in like mid-January, and I told myself that if I want to keep on doing YouTube, then I need to get like 1,000 subs by the end of the year. As in, I would need to get 1,000 subs rather, by December, which is like 6 months away. And obviously I'm at like 5k already, so I've long surpassed the goal that I set out for my YouTube. But I'm gonna try and get 10k by the end of the year. I think that's definitely very doable. Definitely very doable. Manifesto is what I always say. Live video of the tattoo session, yeah, maybe. Maybe. If I go in for one tattoo, though, I'll probably go in for like 2 or 3, so it'll probably take hours. Ryan's got 30,000 KDA, so like $60,000, $60,000, and if he went all in at $20, then yeah, that is brutal. Top 3 to 5 alts that you think will do good after the bear market is over. I think, even though I don't like it, Ethereum and ADA, I think it will do well. I also think ApeCoin, Bounty, and Solana, I think those coins and tokens respectively, I think they're all going to do very, very well. And I don't even really like half of them that I said. Like, I'm not really bothered about ADA or Ethereum. I just really, I don't hate them. I have nothing against them, but I just don't really care about those projects. It's not something I really cover or that I talk about too much. So Matic, we'll check out Matic, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Gaines, great live again. Thank you, my friend. I might live stream again tomorrow. Although I am going to be busy in the evening, so I guess I'll see what the mornings will be saying tomorrow. But yeah, let's check out Matic, because quite a few people have been asking for Matic, especially Tech World. Tech World, you really want to see Matic, so alright, let's check out what's going on with Matic, my friend. So feel like Ape, when the NFT holders can sell their tokens, the price will drop quick. As think they have to hold on for a year. Yeah, that is also something concerning as well. Hopefully after that year's done, though, because I'm expecting, like, I don't think altcoins are going to start to, recover for the next at least 6 months or so, because I think Bitcoin is going to be in the dumps for the next 2 months, and, as we previously looked at these charts, Ethereum and ADA and other altcoins, they didn't actually bottom against Bitcoin until, like, 6 to 12 months after Bitcoin had its bear market bottom. What is your favorite crypto? Don't say XRP. But it is XRP. What is my favorite crypto? Bitcoin, without a doubt. I don't even need to think about that one. It's always going to be Bitcoin. Hope you on live tomorrow. Want to ask you to look into Chainlink. Yeah, we'll defo check that out. Chainlink is very, very bearish against Bitcoin. That is one thing to take note of. I think, like I say in my videos, checking out how these altcoins perform against Bitcoin when you're in a bearish phase is very, very important. And as you can see, Chainlink has basically wiped out, 3 years worth of gains against Bitcoin. So, doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. HB Kings, keep up the good work. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, GMT has been done. GMT and GST has been done. I'll quickly... GMT against Bitcoin, basically getting slaughtered. You've capitulated below the 786. And I think GMT against Bitcoin's moving down about another 53%. GMT itself... I think GMT's moving down to 56 cents. That was the price target that we got from checking it out earlier. And the last time I talked about this, I said this was going to be a 62% drop, and I called this once we broke below the 786. We've dropped almost 29% since we called that. And in my opinion, GMT still has another 47% to go. Yeah, don't worry, Tech World. We're gonna be finishing on Matic today. I'm actually just trying to find it. Matic BTC is here. Cowboy, one of the best on YouTube. Appreciate that, MNS. Keep up the good work. Thank you, KT Squad. Alright, so we've got Matic BTC. I just need to find a Matic chart. Matic USD. Alright, here we go. So how long have we been streaming for? Almost another 3-hour stream. Whenever I come on stream and I'm like, okay, I'm going to stream for like an hour or so, I just forget the time. Just going to finish my Red Bull. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, let's see what's going on. So, weekly time frames. Wow. Matic against Bitcoin really does not look good. I'm going to go on that second of all, but ouch. Matic against Bitcoin, yeah. I mean, I said this was going to come down another 27% the last time I looked at this. I probably looked at this in a live stream, because I never make videos about this this anymore. This was drawn... Probably should have drawn it like this. So it seems like we're in a pretty big bear flag at this moment in time for Matic. I don't necessarily think the target would get hit. No, the target wouldn't get hit. It'd be in the minuses. So all that really matters is this channel that we're in right now. We're losing a lot of momentum. And the volume is once again very, very flat. Like, we had a lot of bearish volume coming into this dump, and ever since then it's just been completely flat. KT Squad, Red Bull or Monster? 100% Red Bull. Red Bull Classic, and then Red Bull Watermelon, and then Red Bull Tropical. I don't like any flavors of Monster. I don't know why. It just tastes horrible to me. They make me feel like... They make me feel sick. I only drink Red Bull. That's the only energy drink I drink. I probably drink too much of them. I drink a lot of water though, but I don't really drink fizzy drinks. But I'm literally I love Red Bull so much. So Matic against USD has capitulated against the 786 already, and the weekly EMAs have flipped bearish. This was a big area of resistance that we previously talked about, needing to get back above. The EMA ribbons are starting to curve down. So we're just moving down. The resistance is moving down with us. You're below the 13 EMA. And we keep on cracking our head against the 13 EMA, getting rejected against the EMA ribbons, and then moving down. Since we flipped it at $1.64, it's just been a straight move down. Every time we momentarily get above this for a couple of days, we move into the EMA ribbons, we backtest them, we come back down, we move up for like a day into the 13 EMA, and then we move down. And you can see we've done it time after time after time again. And what we've done recently is exactly that again. We've come up into the EMA ribbons, we've found an area of resistance on the daily time frame. The momentum indicators we're running off the squeeze mom is currently resetting. So we're literally trending sideways right now. We're probably going to have a big move coming. This is why the volume has been so flat. Well, I say that, but you know, volume goes flat when you're in a pattern. But to be honest, the volume was flat before we entered into this. Volume only really came in when we were dumping into this. So I think Matic is going lower. 99.99% follows BTC. Then why should we study every other coin? What do you mean by that? 99.99% follows Bitcoin. Then why should we study every other coin? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that. Why should we look at other altcoins and how they perform when most of them follow Bitcoin? Is that what you're saying? But yeah, Matic against the US dollar. I think it's likely a lot of these are going to get pulled down to their lower prices. Where did Matic start trading? 2019. So if it does come down, is 29 cent even on the table? 32 cent is the lows down here, 2021. There must be a Matic chart that goes on a bit further than this, because then I'd say we might not come all the way down to there. Matic USD, Binance FTX. Yeah, this zone down here. This is probably where Matic is going to next. If Bitcoin down, every coin goes down, and if it goes up, you know the rest. So yeah, basically everything just follows Bitcoin. But it's good to look at other cryptos, like to look at other altcoins as well, because while these cryptos do the exact same as what Bitcoin does, like for example Solana, if we get the the Solana chart and we compare it to BTC USD, we get Sol USD. Slap these in the same pane. Move this up. Move this up. So, like you said, I mean, they all do follow each other. Like, for example, you can see here, Bitcoin bottoms and Solana bottoms at the exact same time. They both move up at the same time. They both top at the same time. They both correct down and find their bottom at the same time. Then they both pump again, find their top at the same time. Bottom at the same time, dead cat bounce, same time, bottom at the same time, dead cat bounce. And they obviously move in tandem, but what you'll see is from here, the 12th of June 2021, Bitcoin moved from, where was it here? I believe this was when Bitcoin moved from like 30,000 up to 69. But what did Solana do in that period of time? I'm pretty sure it went up massively. So if we check out Sol BTC, they both started moving up on the 12th of July. The 12th of July 2021, right? 12th of July 2021. But as you can see here, 12th of July, somewhere down here. Yeah, 12th of July around about here, you can see while Bitcoin and Solana both moved up at the same time, because Solana's got a lower market cap, and because it had a lot of hype at the time, even though these two charts literally did the same thing and Solana followed exactly what Bitcoin did, you would have been better just buying Solana and then selling it for Bitcoin. So that's why I look at these altcoin pairs against the Bitcoin pairs. I'm in Bitcoin for the long term. Bitcoin is really the only long-term crypto that I care about holding. So whenever I get into these altcoin trades, it's really just to make more Bitcoin rather than make more US dollars. So yeah, basically every crypto follows Bitcoin. So alright, I'm gonna wrap up the video now. I'm just gonna check out what's going on the dollar, the Bitcoin dominance, and also Bitcoin before I do wrap up this video. So I won't be taking any more requests, but I will be wrapping it up now. Tech World says thanks, no worries, my friend. So yeah, I'm just going to summarize what's going on in the Bitcoin dominance, the dollar, the stock market, and Bitcoin, and then we are going to wrap up the live stream. So the Bitcoin dominance, like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, this keeps on moving up. So this is really not the time to buy altcoins. A lot of people keep on asking me or saying, when this altcoin goes down, I'm going to DCA. Or people ask me in the Discord, what do you think about DCAing now, or DCAing now, or DCAing now? And almost every day I say, the Bitcoin dominance is moving up, so there's not much point in getting into altcoins right now. Weekly time frame, the Bitcoin dominance is absolutely exceptional. You can clearly see, looking at the squeeze mom, we're having a pretty big momentum shift. Normally, whenever we have a momentum shift this big, it carries up a lot of weight, and we pump very hard, and by harshly I mean with brute strength to the upside. You can see the last times we've done this, we've just had absolute monumental landslides to the upside. Is landslide the right word when you're moving up a mountain? Who knows, but if we're in an inverse chart, it'd be a landslide at least. But what I'm saying is the Bitcoin dominance is very likely to move up to this price target. I think 60% is the area to keep an eye on. So I will highlight that because I know I have it a little bit extended, but I think this is what's going to be playing out. Not necessarily within this time frame, because I don't think it will take, a year or so to play out. But I think something like this is very, very likely to play out. Bitcoin dominance is very, very likely to keep on moving up over time. And like I say, while the Bitcoin dominance is moving up, it is going to outperform altcoins. So, you know, if you're asking for my opinion on whether now's the right time to buy altcoins, look at the Bitcoin dominance. If the Bitcoin dominance is going up, the answer is going to be no every single time. With the DXY on the daily has had such a huge rejection, which is really, really good for Bitcoin, and it's good for the crypto markets, and it's good for the stock markets. On the daily, this has moved down almost 1%, which I know, like, if you're a crypto trader, you're like, oh, you know, big whoop, 1%, who cares? A 1% move for the dollar is a pretty big move. So for the dollar to have a 1% rejection after coming into the EMA ribbons and after coming up to the 13 EMA is pretty brutal. You can see every, like, 4-hourly candle that goes by, this gets worse and worse. This has been a 2.5 hour long live stream, coming on for 3 hours now. In the past 3 hours, we have moved down pretty strongly for the dollar, and I do expect this to keep on moving down. You have some support at 101.7, but the real support, the last line in the sand, as to say, would be at $101, or sorry, 101.55. You know, I don't mean $101. This is the DXY index, so this is not a price chart. This is an index chart. But yeah, 101.5. That would be your last line in the sand. If you look at the dollar, or if you're watching this in a couple of hours, or even if you just remember what I said, you know, 101.5, if you look at the dollar and we're massively moving below 101.5, it's probably going to be very good for Bitcoin, the stock market, altcoins, etc. But like I said, even if the altcoins are able to bounce over the next 2 weeks into the next FOMC meeting, bear in mind, once again, if we come over to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange group, also known as the CME group, they're predicting 100% likelihood of a 50 basis point increase in the interest rates coming into the 15th. We've got about 12 or 13 days until the next FOMC meeting, where there is going to be very likely for them to once again increase the interest rate. So in my opinion, Bitcoin and the altcoins, while yes, the Bitcoin dominance is going up, so I do think altcoins are going to bounce against the USD valuations. So, you know, bear in mind, the next couple of weeks you are probably going to see some of these altcoins going up against the US dollar. That doesn't mean all of them. You know, be very careful, because some of these are going up and some of them are massively capitulating, like Green Satoshi token, a lot of the other move to earns recently. They've been in big capitulation type events. KDA as well, holding up pretty nastily, and you know, Green Satoshi token, you can see we're moving down pretty exponentially, and we had a huge fake out up to the 13 EMA, huge rejection. Most of these altcoins are pretty bearish. Bear in mind, you know, they can rally a tiny bit, some of them against the US dollar, but if the Bitcoin dominance is moving up, it's very likely that you're going to see Bitcoin outperform as a general rule of thumb. Bitcoin's up about almost 2% on the day. Bitcoin shorts starting to pile in. That's very interesting as well. I believe Bitcoin longs are at all-time highs right now, which is somewhat bullish. I mean, this is a pretty good sign to be seeing. I think this is definitely going to carry some extra weight with it, but we're definitely seeing a very 50-50 fight between the longs and the shorts right now. The longs are definitely winning. I do love to see the longs going up to all-time highs like this, but also, like I said, I do think it is likely some of these altcoins can see rallies over the next week or two coming into the FOMC meeting on the 15th, but I would not bet on it too much because, you know, like I said, this is your 618 fib, 680 billion on the total altcoin market cap, and we're bear flagging below this at this moment in time. So this is not the time to be bullish on altcoins. Altcoins are really getting wrecked right now. You know, we're in a bear flag on the others dominance. The total crypto market cap is also bear flagging below the 618 fib. We're currently literally sitting on it right now. So we're basically a tiny bit above it. The total crypto market cap, which is obviously encompassing Bitcoin, is more bullish than simply the altcoin market cap, which once again, you know, highlights the fact that Bitcoin longs are skyrocketing. A lot of people are losing open interest in altcoins as the Bitcoin dominance moves up. But as a general rule of thumb, most cryptos are probably going to do well over the next 2 weeks, at least coming into the 15th, which is, what was it again, 22, 23, oh, sorry, 12 to 13 days away. Wrapping up the video, like I said, DXY is coming down strongly, and as the DXY is coming down strongly, this has allowed the stock market to rally on the daily. If we look at some of these charts before we wrap up the video, the SPX is still sitting below a very important level of previous support flipped as resistance, so it would be nice to cross above these. The Nasdaq is breaking above this previous support that was flipped as resistance, which has now flipped as support, which is obviously a good sign. I've previously been talking about the likelihood of the Nasdaq coming all the way back up to these price gaps at round about 14805. I think it'd be very, very nice for the crypto market if the Nasdaq was able to come up and fill these CME gaps. I might make a video about that later, but yeah, that would be a very, very good sign to see over on the Nasdaq. SPY as well is breaking above so I just dragged the dollar somewhere. It doesn't really matter. But a lot of these are recovering. Like I said, SPY is moving up above this previous support, flipped as resistance, which is now flipping back as support. But we haven't confirmed it as support yet. Airbnb, Coinbase, they're all having bounces today. Facebook moving up nicely, up about 5%. Let's see here. Tesla almost up 5% as well on the daily, pushing into the EMA ribbons. Apple is up about 2%. Netflix is up 6%. I did say at the start of this stream as well that I did buy some Coinbase stock. Bear in mind, Coinbase stock had its initial public offering all the way up here at $430. So its IPO was a very, very long time ago. It was like an 80% drop since its IPO. So I think we're getting a very, very nice price on Coinbase. I'm not the biggest fan of the Coinbase exchange, but I still do recognize that this is probably going to do quite well. Coinbase has bounced on the 13 EMA, so it's probably going to keep on going up from here, at least in my opinion. And then all of the other stocks in general moving up. Microsoft up 1%, even gold's up 1% today. So I think it's a good day for the markets while the dollar's moving down. Let's hope that we get more continuation. The takeaway at the end of this video is to keep your eyes on the dollar and keep your eyes on 101.5. If the dollar moves below there, then we're probably very, very likely to continue seeing rallies up to the next FOMC meeting in about 2 weeks' time. And like I said, I see Bitcoin going up to at least 34,000. If we are hopefully going to be a little bit more bullish than that, then hopefully we can come up to, 35, 36. But the most I see this going up to is 38. So that is basically the video today. Hope you enjoyed it. Before we do wrap up the video, if you did enjoy it, please make sure you do leave the live stream. It does help with the algorithm and the channel. As always, not financial advice. That's all I've got for you today. Cowboy out. Peace.